Another man done gone. Another man done gone from the county from another.
It's Jax.
man done
What up,
gone.
Dallas? Let's go.
Martin Luther had a dream, but Freddy Krueger had a Ruger. Ex-Malcolm out the picture, so now we back to the future. Now we back to these losers embracing death like they used to. Poking out they just, but listen, son, now you leaking that future. So who's the shooter? Is it your man? Or was it a fan? Or was it a stand? Pop would beg to differ. In hindsight, I bet you he said he was not a nigga. Plus Biggie Smalls was just minding his business, yo. Smoking an Optimo. Somebody got to drop the homie Biggie has got to go. And they couldn't stop it, no, I wish that they could. Yeah, the world needs change, but man, I wish that we would. So why the long frown? A man harmed from a 4-pound. His blood ripples on the floor from the war sound. His mama sitting at the wake, hoping the Lord's found. Another dead, another gone now. Damn.
Another man done gone. Another man done gone from the county from another man
Shit.
done gone.
George Eliot said that it's best to be what you wanna be. Fucking do what you wanna do, so I do what I wanna do. Bet you did it to floss. Bitch, I did what I wanted. Bet you did it and lost. Bitch, I did it and won it. Shit, I'm never coming back. Listen, I just wanna rap. Gee, I told you all of that on about a dozen tracks. I don't give a fuck. I just wanna rap. Spitting fire on this track like a fucking thundercat. Plus this mic is bleeding rojo. This shit is a no-no. Rolling in that low-low. Plus I'm from that Baltimore. Need a folk, smoking on my logo. Ready for the woe, and we so sitting with the flow. Somebody call a robo. Heard the lanes, and I swear they so too much love for the fame just to go broke. You said think I had the rap game in the chokehold. Never think I got the whole world in a rope. Gotta think of damn dog, you crazy. Is he the next Jay-Z? My crystal ball is hazy, but I don't know, maybe.
Welcome back to the Insanity Check podcast. It is your host Chris here, and joining me in studio this time, I got my man who you just heard on the Insanity Check intro, my man Jax. What's going on, man?
What's good, man?
Good to have you on here. Like we were talking before the episode started, and I forgot. Oh shit, that's the song about the end. We gotta get started.
Yeah,
with this
we were
shit,
chopping it up over here.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, because I mean, well, let's just jump right into it, man. Because
Yeah.
you know, it's something we've been talking about for a long time here, but we don't have a date yet.
We don't have a date yet.
We don't have a date yet, but you did kind of make the announcement. Liquor might have been involved.
liquor might have been involved, but
at NegroCon. But you're gonna be bringing a show to the network, man. Tell people about this.
yeah, for sure. So I got a show coming out finally. It's called Boom Goes the Dynamite.
Oh, we're taking the name. I was gonna announce the name last week.
Hey,
but
I
like,
know.
I don't know about the
Dog,
name yet.
like here's the thing. The other name that I had planned for it might be a little too ratchet. So,
what was
I
the name
mean,
gonna be, yo?
and I think instead I'm gonna make it kind of like a segment on the show. But the original name of the podcast was kind of based on the video game Ratchet and Clank. It was gonna be called Ratchet and Drank. Yep.
Oh, you know.
It was shit. Should I put up a poll and have
You might have to put up
I
a
might
poll.
I might put up a poll and have and kind of have the fans have some involvement and some interaction with
Because
what the
I was all aboard for Boom Goes the Dynamite.
but Ratchet and Drank is
Ratchet and Drank
is
is
kind of
actually-
fucking great. You know what? Hold up. Let me go ahead and grab that Twitter name right
Why
now.
don't you go ahead and do that?
Yo, cause
yeah, I'm glad this isn't going live because somebody would have grabbed it up by
I
now.
know,
'cause,
like-
that's actually that's kind of dope right there.
yeah. So anyways,
And,
it's
I'll
either
go ahead and grab the domain name too because we might need that.
hey,
shit.
real
You
talk.
know?
So it's either called Boom Goes the Dynamite or Ratchet and Drink. That's where we at. There's gonna be a poll. Anyways, so the format of it is gonna be me and my homegirl Mickey from Los Angeles. Actually, she's from Wisconsin, but she lives in Los Angeles, and it kind of has more of a game slant. So the very first, very first half of every episode, we're gonna kind of, drink and talk about random shit that's going on, whether it be stuff going on in the news related to like shit. It could be related to anything from like black news. It could be related to fucking sex because there's not a lot of black podcasts out there that's really being straight up honest about sex and stuff like that. It could be related to politics. It could be related to anything. And then the second half is going to be us still chopping it up, but while playing a particular game. It could be anything from Cards Against Humanity or Black Card Revoked or Nerd Card Revoked. And I've got it could be You Don't Know Jack. I've got an entire list of games that I'm planning to play. We're going to have guests on every episode. Most of them will come from some of your favorite podcasts. So I'm lining up a lot of that shit right now. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a little bit different, but it's going to be fun.
Yo, I can't wait for this because you've been flirting this idea for a while now, man. And I gotta say, out of everybody when we started the Insanity Check and started doing this whole podcasting thing, you were the one person that's constantly been on that. I think I kind of might at some point want to get in on this,
Because low key, you remember that one episode where we were playing my old songs, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of fucking talking on my old songs, bro. And Chris was like, yo, it kind of sounds like you wanted to do a podcast and not rap. And I'm like,
right.
I've been kind of having that itch for a little while. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited about it. And, there's going to kind of be an extra incentive to listen to my show because for all of you that have been kind of begging for new music from me, you might hear some things at certain points. Of the show. So check it out. I will post a poll and I'll have Chris retweet it on the MTR feed and his own on the MTR Twitter and his own Twitter about what you guys want the show to be named. But yeah, look out for that shit.
I'm putting my vote in for
you putting your vote in for Ratchet and Drank, huh?
Yeah, because that's just
that shit is fucking great.
That shit is fucking dope as shit.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, but no, I can't wait for this. Like I said, we've been expanding. We're gonna now that God, like first of all, I'm so fucking tired. So let me make this announcement now. All right, next week we're having L-Joy on the show again. I was just on L-Joy's show. She just did a short little interview with me. We were talking on her Sunday Civics, and she's getting all the stuff together for that, and she's piling all this stuff up before they have their wedding. Her and Miles. She's coming on the show next week, so we'll have her on. That's gonna be the last Insanity Check in July. All right, I'm putting my foot down. I'm giving myself some space. Like I'm gonna need some to catch my breath. One, because the following week is gonna be San Diego Comic-Con. Then when we come back, I normally have a show when we come back. But I already know we're gonna have a ton of stuff to edit. I'm gonna be tired. In like 2.5 months after that, or 3 months after that, we'll have New York Comic-Con coming up as well. So I'm pulling an executive decision and doing something I have never done before. We're taking 2 Insanity Checks off in this month. We will be back again after the 15th. We'll be back again in August, that first weekend in August. But I need that. I'm gonna need that break. We're gonna need that. But we'll still have plenty of stuff coming out. Like I already know. On one of those days is scheduled a Spider-Man 2 nostalgia review. So like everything else is still going to be happening on. There's still going to be plenty of content coming out. Don't worry about that. There's going to be plenty of stuff in your feed. If you're subscribed to us on the MTR Network YouTube channel, which you should be, you'll be getting plenty of interviews and stuff that covers from San Diego Comic-Con. I know that everybody will have articles and things like just. There'll be still plenty of stuff coming out there, so you guys really shouldn't miss the Insanity Check unless the world ends, which is quite honestly at this day and age.
At this point,
it's quite
shit could happen any day.
Quite possible. So that's what's going on with there. So yeah, like we still got plenty of stuff coming out, but just know that that's going to happen there. Another big things happening is we're losing us. I don't want to say we're losing a sponsor. Susan is going to be moving on to other bigger and better things in her career, and so we're not going to have the Pool Law Firm as sponsors anymore because she's the one that we've been working with that sponsorship. And I just am saying that now. And normally I wouldn't have said anything, but I don't want anybody going, "Hey, why don't you guys like have the Pool Law Firm anymore? Are you and Susan like at odd?" No, we're not.
Susan's great.
Susan's still great. She actually hit me up and felt so bad. Like, she's trying to move on for her own career. I'm like, oh, it's fine. You got to do what you got to do. And I've known for a while that she was thinking about moving on. Of course. And I was like, yo, just let me know when, and that's fine. I'll make sure we stop, and we'll go from there. And she's like, she felt so, like, that was the one thing I was worried about. She was worried about. And I'm like, literally, this is nothing. This is a good thing for you. Like, this is good. You're trying to get your career together. So I understand that. So we'll be getting other sponsors and things in there, for that. Like, I just want to say thank you to her and the Pull Up Firm, because they were, one of the first legit sponsors outside of, Tweaked Audio. But what we will be doing, because this is our network, starting soon, I'm going to be having, I practiced this last week, we're putting little drops in for the other shows on the network. Because, again, one of the things about us being a network is it's a network of podcasts.
Of course.
So, we want to leverage that and make sure we're all promoting each other's shows and things like that. So you'll be hearing more from the other hosts of their shows that we put in advertisements into, like the Insanity Check character corners and things like that. We'll be... I'm bringing back preview clips. I'm hoping to get some previews clips up before I go to San Diego Comic-Con, so you can see what you've been missing from Premium, and stuff like that. So, last thing, Secret Sauce episode number 4 will be coming out this weekend or during the week, which means we're one episode away from that getting its own feed as well. So that'll be getting its own feed. So we'll be adding, another feed under the MTR Network brand. And the last thing I want to say about that also is, if you were having trouble subscribing through the iOS podcast app, it's because of just that podcast app and it was just acting crazy. It should be fixed now, so you should be able to subscribe to the show. Or if you told somebody else to subscribe to the show and they couldn't through their podcast app, should be working fine now. Everything should be good. Also, I've been checking this out. Stitcher's also been fairly reliable lately as well. So if you can only get to us on Stitcher, and I've seen a lot more people start going back to Stitcher and listen to us there. If you can only listen to us on Stitcher, all the shows are on Stitcher now. Each one has their own little feed there. Secret Sauce will eventually get his own feed on there as well. So you can get all that stuff there, and that's all the stuff. You'll hear the other advertisement stuff throughout the episode. And we can get right into just talking the shit we want to talk about. So.
Let's do it.
Yeah. First I want to talk about, because this is something, and I brought this up during the Nerd Off. I don't have time to play games a lot, which reminds me I do need to finish playing The Walking Dead and the Guardians of the Galaxy episodes that have come out, because I'm so fucking behind on playing Deads. You've been playing a game that I feel like does not get talked about enough. Yeah. You've been playing the Wolfenstein game. You're playing the New Blood, right?
The New Blood. Like, here's the thing where I am with video gaming. I have time to play. I don't necessarily have the money to pay $60 right now for, games that I'm probably not going to play until like a year later. Right. So what I've been doing lately is just waiting until shit goes on these deep fucking discounts digitally and copping them then. Because look, this past week, PlayStation 4 or Sony, Microsoft, and Steam all had these ridiculous fucking summer sales, bro.
I say off of that. I say off my Xbox because of that.
Look, bro, fucking Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year edition was $4 on all 3 platforms, bro. And I started playing that game, but I never fucking finished it. Right. So I copped that shit for $4. $4. Anyways, so yeah, I got Wolfenstein. And I never really played any of I played like the original Wolfenstein, like the 2D. The
Wolfenstein
3D. Yeah. But I never played Return of Castle Wolfenstein on Xbox. But this new shit on Xbox One and PS4, listen. It probably has some of the best kind of like cutscenes or cinematics that I've seen.
Oh, dude, yeah.
In any game, especially the way it like goes from gameplay to the cutscenes. Fucking good. Fucking voice acting is great. The game itself, like the gameplay, it's nothing like revolutionary as far as first-person shooters are concerned. But I would say that it's so much fun, and there were times where I legit fucking jumped because fucking dog is coming around the corner, or like this random like character that you're beefing with just fucking comes out of a closet or something crazy, and I'm like, fuck, like I was so into it. And it's hard. Like, it's not an easy game at all, but it's so good, man.
Oh, dude, it's so much fun. Like,
and at this point, we can like spoil. Well, we won't spoil it, but the storyline is so fucking good, bro.
So So I started with Return of Castle Wolfenstein.
Okay.
Well, no.
And so is it the same character?
I played. Well, it's always been BJ Blazkowicz.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
I played all the Wolfenstein games in 3D. Like it was Wolfenstein 3D. There's another one that was there that was after there. Like because you know what it was with Wolfenstein 3D. It used to be that you get the demo for free, so you get to play the first level.
Right.
Because it's that was like one of those first person shooters.
It was like kind of like when Doom. It was right before Doom came out.
And so that was the game that we were like, oh, you get to play like, oh, I don't know about this.
Shoot Nazis,
right? So your parents might not buy you the game.
See, our fucking first computer came with Wolfenstein installed. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but yeah, it came with Wolfenstein installed.
And so sometimes you can only play the demo because your parents might not want you to actually buy the game.
Yeah.
So you get like a couple levels, and that was it, right? So when Return to Castle Wolfenstein came out, and I know it came out on Xbox, I think I might have got it on
Xbox
the PC.
One. I mean, the original Xbox.
The original Xbox.
For some reason, I thought it was 360.
It was the original Xbox, but then it also came out on Windows. So I had it on Windows.
Oh shit! Okay.
That was good too, though.
Yeah.
That was a really good game. That was still. It was basically almost like a. It's either like. It was either a reboot or kind of in the same world of. It was during the World War II, and you're fighting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then they did. What was the next one they did? There's another one.
They
I
did
think
another
they did.
Wolfenstein game.
I can't. Let me see if I can just find all the Wolfenstein games they did, because there was another one. The ones that Bethesda's been doing.
So let's see. Back in the games, so there was Return to Cat. So there was a regular Wolfenstein game in 2009. That might be the Xbox original version that you were talking about.
That might be it.
That one is that was just called Wolfenstein. Actually, that one was on 360, PlayStation 3, and PC in August of 2009. And then there was before that there was I think Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Right.
Yeah, so Return to Castle Wolfenstein came out in 2001, and that one was on PS3 and Xbox. Mm-hmm. Then Wolfenstein,
and then they
rebooted it with the new Blood.
The new Blood, and that's Bethesda, I believe, right?
Yeah. So, Bethesda bought both ID and whatever this company.
Right, and so what they did with the new Blood is actually no.
It's called the New Order.
The new
I'm
Order,
sorry,
right.
Yeah,
because the old Blood is the one that comes next. I play both,
and that's a prequel to the New Order, right?
No.
Oh.
Well, actually, it is a prequel to the New Order. So
I haven't started that one yet.
Yeah, man. So I've been playing this game, and you kind of just find out that it's basically set. It's kind of like the game. It's kind of like the book Uber, where it's like, what if the
like the TV show, the Man in the High Castle,
right? What if the Nazis and the Axis actually won, right? And it's just like you see what would have happened if like. You know, the Nazis and their technology and stuff like that actually went because they got
which
robots.
low key. Like, look, the Nazis had some fucking technology, bro. Like they were.
Well, you know, when you don't really care about
testing your shit on
right,
humans.
and they show you this like like at one point you're in like in a room where you literally see them. They were testing on humans. Like it is. Yeah. They don't pull any punches on any of this shit, man.
I think that this New Order game might have one of the best levels, twists or whatever you want to call it in a video game.
Which one is that?
And it's kind of where it's about 2/3 of the way through the game, and you find out that you have to go to a location that motherfuckers shouldn't be going to back in 1963 or whatever it was. And that level. Bruh, it's so fucking good.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, we could talk about it because at this point the game has been out for a minute.
The game's been out for a minute. Go ahead.
Yo, there is a level where you have to, apparently the Nazis have set up a fucking base on the moon.
Yeah.
And you got to go up there. And, like, at first, like, they say you're going to the moon, but you're like, am I really going to the moon? And you see him kind of, like, take off on almost like a plane or an aircraft, and then you're like, wait, this motherfucker's on a spacecraft. Then you get off of the spacecraft, and you realize you're on a fucking, like, space station, or, like, on a fucking, like, base on the moon, and then you actually get to go out on the moon, and the fucking physics. I mean, yeah, Destiny did that shit, too, but you wouldn't have expected a game like Wolfenstein to do some crazy shit like that. That just fucking blew my mind. It was like, holy shit. Like, they really put a lot of fucking thought into this storyline and surprising people along the way. So I really dig the game, man. It's definitely worth $10. It's probably worth than that. Now,
the fact that it's only $10 is a steal.
It's a steal.
And here's the thing: when they come out new, they're only like $28-$30. Like they're already cheap. They're like when they come out new. Like I find out there's a new Wolfenstein game coming out usually by accident.
And so that was the reason why I really wanted to play this. Like I didn't even understand when I was watching Bethesda's E3 conference, like what the fuck that trailer was, because I'm seeing some white dude walking around in this town. I'm seeing motherfucking KKK hoods, and like I don't know if anyone was following my live tweets during the Bethesda E3 conference, but I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? And everybody in the crowd is like, they see the KKK hoods and shit, and they're cheering, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, hold up.
Right.
And then like I see the rest of the trailer, and they got some really cool. There's one character in the new Wolfenstein game that's going to be in the new Wolfenstein game that's like a black lady, and I was like, oh shit, they got a black lady and
her hair,
she's got like natural hair and shit, and the dialogue and everything looked really cool. And I'm like, fuck, that's right. I never played the fucking Wolfenstein game. So let me check that shit out so I can get ready for the new one that comes out later this year.
It is so good because the way BJ is so hateful of Nazis. Like again, this is the beginning of the New Order where he has to interrogate that one Nazi officer.
Yo.
And he's like, you're going to tell me the information I want, or I'm going to use this here appliance. And the appliance is a fucking chainsaw.
Yo. Like, I feel like there's one other game where you had to torture somebody, and I can't think of what it was. And it was fucking brutal. But this one was like, holy shit, this motherfucker's taking his chainsaw and about to go to work.
Yeah. And, yo, man, it's a brutal fucking game. Like the when you sneak up on people and you kill them with a knife.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brutal as shit, yo.
It absolutely is.
But here's the thing: they're Nazis, so you don't care.
Don't give a fuck.
Don't give a shit. It was a great game.
It is.
The Old Blood was, like you said, the prequel to this one,
which I'll be playing at some point.
Yeah, and it's again they're basically because what happens at one point you realize that you're in 1946. It opens up. The New Order opens up with you in 1946, Germany. Like the Allies are trying to do this one last push to stop the Nazis, and something happens, and BJ gets hurt. You find out later on he's put in a 14-year coma.
Yep.
It's 1960.
Yeah.
So it's 1960, and it's like the world if the Nazis won. So what's great about it too is the game is so when you first playing, you get some of the same original gear and tools and stuff like that you had when you played the other Wolfenstein games. So this is 1946.
Yeah.
When you wake up, it's newer weapons.
Newer weapons with fucking new abilities, and you're like,
even like the dogs. So like the dogs, in the first game, and when you're in 1946, have some armor plating on, things like that. They're like war dogs. When they get like in the 60s, oh man, they're like almost RoboCop dogs.
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah,
no motherfuckers find you.
And then they got the Panthers, the giant Panther-ass creatures.
Yeah,
like dude, they got some real monsters in here. Like it is,
and some of the best like fucking voice acting, man. Like it's so good.
The scene with I can't remember what the lady was, the old lady when you're on the train. I started playing the game.
Oh yeah.
So the old lady on the train, she's asking you to say,
bruh, I was so fucking stressed out.
Right? How can you decide if you're a real Aryan or not? And
you're
like,
so one of the villains in the game comes up with her own little personal game on how she determines on whether or not someone is a pureblood, is what they call it. And and you have to play this little game that she's made, and bruh, it's so stressful because you're already a stowaway on a fucking Nazi train, and she definitely fucks with you. But it's so good. It's so good,
right?
Man.
I mean, it's such a great game. It's fun to play. Like I say, it's brutal. I fucking love that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyways, y'all didn't come here to hear us talk about video games, but still,
if you're a fan of first-person shooters, they're cheap. And when the new Colossus comes out, and I think it comes out in October, I can't wait. I'm all in on that because again, I bet you it probably won't be $60 either. It'll probably be really cheap. They're a nice little fun game to play, and like I said, and they're not easy.
Yeah.
Oh, and the last thing I'm gonna say
Look, I died so much in that game. There was one point where I had to actually turn the difficulty down just to get past one part and then turn it back up.
Oh, that happens to me at the beginning when you had to fight the little drones. And come out
yeah.
Because I didn't have enough health, and I was just like, oh god, what the fuck? But There's cool things if you go around too and you start looking at some of the newspaper clippings.
They're dynamic. They change.
Some of them are dynamic change, and then some of them like there's one I found with the Beatles. It's like
really?
Yeah, there's like the dynamic like when you're on the train. There's one that says something about the dynamic four.
Yeah,
and it shows the Beatles in that little, the little famous of them walking across the street. That's them.
The Abbey Road.
The Abbey Road. They have them. And they're talking about them, and I'm like, son of a bitch.
Shit.
Yeah. This is one of those. It's another one of those things where people get mad at hide your cap. I'm like, oh, we're promoting Nazi culture. I'm like, no, because we're actually showing Nazis.
It's kind of the complete opposite.
Yeah,
dumbass. We're still showing them as villains, as the villains that they are,
and they need to be stopped.
Don't be a dumb.
So
while we're on the topic of video games, though, real quick, I just have to give a shout out to GameStop, only because of their dumbass promotions last week. I can now upgrade my PS4 to a PS4 Pro if I'd like, and probably still have about half of an Xbox One paid off.
Hey.
By the time the Xbox One comes out. So shout out to them dummies.
Yeah, because
technically, fuck GameStop. But
you're trading stuff and you're getting like Amazon credit for it.
Basically what I did is I had like 2 Nintendo Switch games and 2 PS4 games, and I flipped them joints into like they had like a thing where the more games you trade in, the more percentage bonus that you get, and they also at the same time had buy 2 get 1 free on pre-owned games. So I mean, you could essentially just you could trade your shit in, buy used games, trade more shit in, and just kind of like, because also none of the prices tanked. So in some cases, like in the case of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Zelda on Nintendo Switch, you actually were getting more. I was getting like $64 for those games, whereas I only paid about $40 from them in the first place because of, you know what I mean? So it's like,
this is the first time I've ever heard of a GameStop story where you actually are coming out on top as a person trading things in.
Like, that was the only time I was happy I went physical on some shit, because I was like, God damn, I was able to come up without coming out of pocket. Like, what the hell?
Awesome.
Anyways,
awesome.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. So I'm gonna. You looking for
nothing? Yeah.
Okay. So I want to do something right quick because we did a nerd off yesterday, and I did have a little rant earlier Friday morning, and I don't want people to complain and say, "Oh, you just said this stuff behind the paywall. You're not gonna say it on your show." I had a little rant about Blerds and how I feel personally
Blerds
about
finger quotes.
the name, and it should be finger quotes because I know last weekend was BlerdCon, and from all intents and purposes, from what I've heard, and I know
it was
Justin and 3/5 was there. Like it was a great time, a safe environment, all inclusive, like everything that the stereotype sometimes of Blerds isn't sometimes. And I say that because I've been finding that it's kind of like that white dude bro culture of nerds where it's very anti-woman, and it takes a black male Blerds, it's anti-black women, and not very inclusive of the LGBTQ community. Basically, you know what it is? I'll use myself. It's basically what we all were 7-8 years ago.
Right.
When we first got on Twitter and we were all pieces of shit.
Hella reckless.
Right, hella reckless and
without points of view.
Right, and not growing. And there's been a lot of that.
Yep.
And the reason why I came up with that is I had and everybody, if you don't know, and I don't know the full Howard backstory of the troll that trolls a lot of black podcasters, because I missed out on it. And so when he started trolling me, I don't remember this dude. And I'm
pretty sure I blocked him on Facebook.
And I didn't understand this. He has a new hitter. It's weird because he talks about all of us, but he blocks us so we can't. It's just very, very weird. It's a very weird thing. And he used to have a
Tweets is watching, bro. The Tweets is
right.
watching.
He has his Twitter account called Awkward Blerd. At least he used to. He doesn't anymore. He deleted it.
It'll probably be changed.
Right. Well, I think he either changed it or he deleted it, or I don't know what happened with it. Right. But it used to be very heavily anti-black women, very anti-diversity. Like, remember Rise tweeting, and a lot of black women have said this too, about how black men sometimes sound like white people talking about racism.
Yep.
That's how a lot of these black Blerd sound. They side on that whole thing of, well, Marvel sucks now because
a lot of the black male.
Right. It's Marvel sucks now because it's too much. They're forcing diversity and all that bullshit that makes my ass itch. It's like, it's one of those, like, what is forced diversity?
Right.
What is forced diversity in a genre that literally is nothing but diverse? Like comic books, sci-fi. Like, I know Sneaker Green, she came out about trolls about the Star Trek Discovery
yeah.
And about how people are, I can't believe they're making, black and there's no white men here. Star Trek has always really been about diversity.
They've always been about diversity.
First interracial kiss
on
TV. Star Trek. Like, Star Trek has always been about that. Like, if you look across sci-fi has always been about bleeding as diversity, inclusion things. Like, when you look at diversity in movies, let's be honest here, comic movies are leading the way. They're behind on where they should be at, but they're still way above everyone
comic
else.
Comic book movies and television.
Right. Way above everybody else right now. So when I see these nerds, kind of going against what nerddom is, it kind of makes me feel weird. And then when I see these black male Blerds do this, and that was a lot of like Howard stuff. Like, that's his stick. Like, let's be honest here. Dude has problems. And I'm not saying that just to say that. If you listen to any of his shows, because he has a podcast, and we'll get into that later, he has
that nigga
fucking
got a podcast
problems.
before me. That's crazy.
He's fucking he has issues with black women. He definitely has issues with his own mother. Like, and I'm not saying that isn't. And I'm not saying this. Like, if you listen to any of his shows, he brings this stuff up himself. All right. Cause I listened to one of his shows on Friday because somebody sent me a super hotep-y, black male nerds should move over, stop trying to go after black women because they don't want us no more articles. And they were asking me, like, why did he mention you? Like, what's going on with this? And I read it and it was like, oh my God.
Yo, he mentioned you in the article?
Yeah. It's weird. So
it's weird. Like, for me, the term Blerd is strange. I don't know if it's a necessary term that we need to classify ourselves by, but I'm not gonna hate on that. I will say that a lot of these black nerds, I'm not gonna use Blerds, fuck that. Almost seem like the hoteps of the nerd realm, where where the only thing that matters is the black man's feelings and ideas about whatever's going on, and they fucking don't care about anyone else's. It's more specifically, they don't, or they talk shit about the black women, and that's a problem for me.
You know what it is? It's a lot of them come off on this because they were picked on in college, and I'm saying we were picked on. Like, I was a black nerd. I was picked on in college. I was picked on in high school, in elementary school, and middle school. Like, we get picked on, and so they developed this idea that they were picked on because they were smarter than the other black kids, and they were different from the other black kids, and so
snowflake syndrome.
You get this snowflake syndrome where you start pretending that the reason why they pick on you is because you're smarter and you're better than them, and they're hating and jealous. And you see this. And I'm saying this as somebody who has had to fight off this kind of thinking. You start thinking of yourself as better than these people, and you see it in the way they talk. Like, I've talked to other, and it doesn't mean just comic booky or TV nerds. This is what I was saying on the Nerd Off. It can be just academic nerds where they're like, oh no, Southern black people, they're not that smart. That's why they didn't vote for Bernie. They weren't that smart. Like, I've literally had smart black people tell me that kind of shit, and I'm like, that's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. Like, there's this idea of, and I have plenty of things we'll get into this, like, tied into another little stupid thing that's not related to this, but kind of related to this. This idea of, there are black people and then there's niggers. It's like, it's that kind of mentality that somehow, if you're from a certain, if you don't, you're a smart black person, you're a different black person because you like Star Trek.
Yeah.
But the dude who didn't like Star Trek, who just liked sports, and was just a jock, is stupid because he could never understand Star Trek or something like that. Like,
look, bro,
it's hurt people thing,
and it's a certain kind of like self-hatred,
right? And it comes into that. And
hey, look, Jay-Z said on the story of OJ just this week, black nigga, dark nigga, faux nigga, real nigga, rich nigga, poor nigga, house nigga, field nigga. You're still a nigga, bro.
And that's what it really should come down to. But
don't.
So many people don't. Like, they think that somehow it's different, and they go with the extremes. And I see this a lot in that blurred culture of the well, it's because I'm smart, or because I got made fun of because they said I talk like a white person, and instead of just rolling with the punches, because I got that, I literally got a nickname because of that at one point.
Right.
You roll with the punches, but what I've seen instead is some of these people, they internalize that and they project it out against poor black people who aren't quote unquote nerds, which it's starting. The line is really starting to blur nowadays with who's a nerd and who isn't, because who doesn't like comic book movies?
Right, at this point. I mean,
right?
It's actually popular to be
right.
Nerd.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I think the fact that it's become popular to be a nerd is something that we've seen across nerd culture.
Yeah.
Black or white, where you've seen the real nerds get mad about that. Like,
of course.
It's like the underlying. Like,
they're like nerd hipsters, if you will. I was a nerd before being a nerd was cool.
Yeah. And like, you're seeing this. We're coming into the Comic-Con in a week and a half. You see this a lot about in the talks around Comic-Con, like San Diego Comic-Con. You get a lot of people that are complaining about how big and corporate San Diego Comic-Con has gotten. Like, oh, it's not for real nerds anymore. They're inviting big Hollywood stars down. People only come out for celebrities and things like that. I'm like, it's still nerdy. Like, it's still nerdy to get the San Diego Comic-Con. You have to pay a shit. If you're not pressed, you have to pay a shit ton of money. You have to jump through all kinds of fucking hoops to get a pass, to get a badge, to get a hotel room. I'm sorry. If you do all that to go to San Diego Comic-Con, you're a fucking nerd. You are a nerd. It is way too... And God forbid you're coming from the East Coast.
Right.
Nigga,
that's an entirely
nigga, our hotel
extra layer of planning.
Our hotel rooms for a week are $1,000.
Yep.
For one room. So we're paying more than that because we got 2 rooms, all right? The flight out there is $500. That's before you buy a ticket. The tickets to get out there. I believe the 4-day passes... Because I bought one from my friend. We're gonna have somebody. My friend can't go, so we're buying one to have somebody cover the floor for us. Shout out, I think his name is Rudy. Shout out to him. I paid $250 for that badge. So that's $250 for the badge. So when it all comes out, you're looking at almost what? Because it's about $550 for the flight out. I mean, I'll go with $500. $1,750.
Damn.
Just to fly out. Have a hotel room and have a badge for 4 days. $1,750 for 4 days. You a nerd. You a nerd if you do that.
That's a fucking commitment. Like, that is, yeah.
To get a hotel, you have to, on that morning, wake up, get in the queue at 9 o'clock, and then hope and pray that you can fill.
Is that how that shit works?
Yes, nigga. Damn. It is a queue online, and it's randomly picked to hope that you can get it. And motherfuckers will have like I had
that,
this laptop,
and that's to stay at the hotel where Comic-Con is.
Well, to stay at any of the hotels are on the bus line.
Area. Okay.
Yeah, in the area. All right.
I was gonna say I might have to fuck around and do Airbnb instead, but yeah.
And they're just expensive.
Yeah, they are. Like, because obviously motherfuckers hike up the prices for that shit.
But it's like, bruh, you do that, you're a nerd. I don't give a fuck what you are. I don't care what kind of. You are a nerd to do that.
Yeah.
You know, to if you're not pressed to get into Hall H that sees 6,500 people, you have to line up. Sometimes people are lining up 12 hours in advance.
You used to do that shit.
I did it once.
You did it once. I remember looking at your tweets or whatever, or Facebook updates.
I did it once. Actually, I might have done it twice.
I think you did it twice.
Until I realized that I didn't have to do that because I have a press badge. I can just walk in. But yeah, nigga, like, you do that, you are a nerd. I don't care what, when you became a nerd or if it just the day before, but once you decide to do that, you are a nerd, period. But you have these nerd purists who act like, well, you didn't go through the suffering that I went through. You didn't go through being ostracized. You didn't go through being picked on, being bullied. And look, all that stuff is wrong. And I get it. I get the idea that when being a nerd, when it wasn't cool to be a nerd, you might be able to feel some kind of way.
Right.
I get that. I totally fucking get that. At the same time, grow the fuck up.
Move
right?
the fuck
Move
on.
the fuck on.
Also, there are ways to use that type of shit as motivation to, number one, not become that type of person, but also use it as fuel to make yourself a doper person, without making other people feel shitty about themselves.
And so you get this, and so it started off really noticing it with white male nerds complaining about, like the Comic-Con girls. Mm-hmm. Like the ones that are only there to, like, the models that are there to promote, and handle things. And they don't even really know about the comics. Which, in my opinion, I found out that a lot of them actually kind of do know about the shit. And they are aware. They just happen to be hot girls who also understand the stuff they're promoting. And I know that seems like a foreign concept to some of because of the stereotypes, it's a foreign concept to some of these nerds, right?
Yeah.
But what I started noticing is there's also a lot of that in black male nerds. Because again, when it came to who they fit in with, they started, feeling that they could fit in more with white males. White male nerds, and I'll be honest, white men can be trash for some of their fucking opinions. And so what you see is a lot of black male nerds feeling like they've been rejected by black women, feeling like they've been rejected by women in period.
By women in general,
In general, they sometimes mimic the same ideas of some of these white men. And again, so going back to Howard has podcasts full of that. The podcast I listened to on Friday when I was just curious, and it was full of that. It started off with them talking about his problems, but then it morphed into him and the other black dude complaining about black women, and it was just trash, right? But my problem came into the fact that Howard's podcast wasn't just some voice out in the middle of the sea somewhere. Howard's podcast was at one point hosted by Blerds Online, which is supposed to be a community for all Blerd culture, right? And they literally had a podcast they were hosting, and now they claim up and down that they I don't know what you're talking about. We cut ties with Howard, and we never did that, and Chris is lying about our stuff. Listen, the podcast of Howard's I listened to on Friday, I streamed from Blerds Online. It was
less than 12 hours ago.
My commute on Friday was like an hour. I listened to most of it. I started listening to it before I left. I listened to the whole thing by the time I got to work.
It was up last night.
No, it went down.
It went down? Okay.
It went. They took the podcast down from
maybe someone downloaded it and just...
Yeah. Because you can still get his podcast on Stitcher.
Oh, okay.
But they still had it on their site at least by 11 o'clock. So then they hit me back talking about Chris is lying. We don't have any two-man podcast, blah, 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 blah. And that's where my problem comes in with this shit. I don't have a beef with Blerds Online. They think I have a beef with them. I don't. I'm just saying, be honest about shit.
Yeah.
You had Howard as as Awkward Blerd. He had a show on your network. If you search for what was it? Lanson Antihero. If you search for that, you'll see all of his stuff comes up linked to Blerds Online.
Yeah.
Now all their stuff is deleted. So if you click on some of the stuff that links
it doesn't.
It goes page not found.
Right.
That's because they finally deleted all their stuff off the site. They scrubbed it.
Of course.
That's fine. But the last show we had on there was for May. Howard has been trolling black women and other black podcasters
for quite some time.
Way longer than May. It's been years. His Awkward Blerd account, which promoted the fact that he was tied to Blerds Online, was full of anti-women bullshit. He would troll people from that account. We would call him out, and I started calling out Blerds Online like, you guys support this shit? Never got a response back. They never at any point came out and said, we don't fuck with Howard. We didn't know he was doing this stuff. And look, as a person who runs a network, I can say that, hey, you are technically not responsible for everybody under your site. And when they say, because you can't.
Of course. You can't.
We're
not in the business of policing people's opinions.
Well, here's the thing: we're not multi-billion-dollar companies that have staff that can do this and HR departments. All right, we don't. If who knows? Maybe Deepalm's gonna hate me for saying this. Yeah. Let's say Deepalm was running a shadow site somewhere and a shadow Twitter account that everybody knew was Deepalm, but I didn't know, and he's literally just being a shit muffin over there, right? And I didn't know about it. And if somebody came over and told me about it, though, I would come out and be like, oh, well, Deepalm's off the site. We're no longer a host in unanimous decision.
And like,
we're done. I come out fully and say, kind of like what I did with Kev. Like people forget that when I came up with that thing with Kev, I put out an episode that said, "Hey, listen, Kevin's no longer with the site." I took all this stuff off of the site.
Yeah.
People don't know this. I went as far as Kevin's the reason why we had press access in Baltimore. I contacted the press people, told them that Kev was no longer associated with their site, not to answer any emails from him, and to deal with me from that point on. Yeah. I did that because I was like, listen, I can't support what he has done.
Right.
And I don't want anybody associating what we're doing with that. You got to cut full ties. That is not what Blerds Online did. They did not do that. They only recently did it when it was bad. Like the dude, Daryl, who I think runs this thing, has been on Howard's show. So you know Howard.
Right.
I know you know this guy. I know you can't sit there and go, I didn't know he was like this. His last episode was literally like an hour and a half of him doing everything from shitting on black women complaining about Rachel Dolezal to soft defense of Ray Rice deserves to be back in the NFL, all the way down to it literally ends with them basically going, yeah, safety pin back to some shit. Like all of that, like they hit all the levels. Yeah. How do you not know that a dude on your site is doing that shit unless you kind of believe it? Right. Which is where I kind of fit with Blerds Online. I think a lot of them dudes believe that shit, but they fall on that line of, oh, well, we're Blerds, we're nerds, we're all on the same side. I believe in Black Lives Matter, all this other stuff. Like,
this is what I think. As the homie Sterling from Gaspar would say, players fuck up, right? If they truly don't believe in the bullshit that Howard and his show has been spewing, I think that they owe their female listeners, their women listeners, I think
that in that context, female works fine.
An apology, or at least some type of statement saying, hey, we don't agree with a lot of these things that have been happening on the network with this particular show. We apologize. Shit won't happen again. On the flip side, if they do agree with it, don't expect any kind of apology.
If you do agree with it, just say that. Just come out. Don't play the middle and pretend like you don't. Come out and fucking say you believe it. Come out and say you're okay with the views he spewed, because, like, I don't understand it. I don't understand how you put a show out and you've had a show that had literally 20 episodes of a guy who was a known guy to talk about this shit, and then go, well, no, we've never had a show like that. Like, I'm not one of those guys that go, oh, Kev? I never heard of him. Oh, what? Well, I never had. No, Kev was my best friend. Known him since high school. I mean, I'm sorry, excuse me.
Since middle school.
Middle school, yeah. It's longer than that. All right? Known Kev a long time. Kev was one of my best fucking friends. Helped me build MTR Network, movie trailer reviews. We did videos together. Did all this shit together. Never thought I could have anybody closer. Yo, it hurt. Like, when I had to cut that tie, it fucking hurt. Didn't want to, had to. I stuck out as long as I fucking could. All right? I had to cut that fucking tie. And I came out and said it. And everybody remembers the episode, because everybody goes, yeah, man, you sound like you don't even know if you were going to keep doing this no more. I was like, because I didn't know. That might have been the end of it. All right? Because that's how much I believe in that shit. I believe that there was the line that he crossed, and I couldn't go from there. All right? Now, they were still, every now and then you would find some episodes of Kev's up there. I still have them all there. And I was like, yeah, man, I leave all, look, my entire Twitter account from 2008 is still up there. Yeah. You can find all the horrible shit I've said if you go and search my name. I'm actually surprised some people haven't done that.
Don't look up my shit. Yeah.
Don't look up my shit. I come out and say all the time that I had some horrible views. That shit is all there. And I say all the time that I had that shit there so people can see
how much we've grown.
We've grown.
Yeah.
So when confronted about this stuff, Blerds Online, instead of going into, no, we don't fuck with Howard, this is why, blah, blah, blah. Because most of their time talking about how much of a terrible person I am and how I've been trying to ruin them since 2014. Here's the thing. I remember.
Yo, they spend a lot of time talking about that?
Yeah, I don't remember any of the shit they were talking about either. It was like, there's this one time that you said that we made a joke about a Tennessee coach, and you went into a joke and claimed that we were saying this stuff, and you were wrong, and you deleted your tweets. I'm like, dude, I honestly don't remember that shit. I don't. You know what I do remember? The fact that in a couple months ago, Howard was trolling everybody and saying anti-black women shit, and you guys still had a show on your network. Since then, all of his shit has been deleted.
Yeah.
He shows is no longer on Blerds Online and stuff like that. And it's just weird how all that stuff just suddenly disappeared. I'm not saying they did it all of a sudden to save face, but I'm just saying if that's how you guys feel and you guys really believe that Howard didn't represent your shit, good. Because here's the thing. I'm not even on some fuck you niggas, you guys are lying, blah, blah. Maybe you guys had an epiphany and you did like I did and realized, hey, you know what? I've been shitty before. And you decided that, hey, you know what? We do need to get rid of this nigga because this nigga is full of shit and representing everything that is stereotype.
Beyond problematic.
Everything that's problematic about, that people feel about Blerds, the black male nerds, this dude is representing. And we need to purge him from our site. That's fine. I applaud you for that shit. Good for you. But don't sit here and act like you did that out of the kindness of your heart and that you didn't know what he was doing. Just admit that, yo, we grew, he didn't, we got rid of him. Don't say we never had a 2-man podcast, because you fucking did. You were on his site. You want to know what I know? You can search for his podcast, and one of you guys is actually on. The descriptions are still there on Stitcher.
Yeah.
When you search for his podcast, it still says, buy Blerds Online. Like, it's all fucking there. Google don't fucking lie. I streamed the episode from your site. I got the screenshot because you guys deleted it now. I got the screenshot of it saying that Blerds Online, and it has the episode that he was on with the other dude who was complaining about black women. It's like, the shit is there. Nothing you can do about that. But just come out and say, yeah, we fucked up. We shouldn't have done it. And our views have changed. But here's the thing. I'll be honest. I don't think your views have. But I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt.
Give them the benefit of the doubt.
And I'll go back. And here's the thing. Because I have them muted already,
right.
With Howard gone and you guys no longer have him on the site, I'm going to go back to not realizing you niggas exist.
Right.
And that's what it is. But this goes back to a larger issue of this idea of smart black people thinking, or book smart black people, or people that are nerds thinking that they can somehow, they're somehow better than the rest of the black community. Mm-hmm. This episode is sponsored by the good folks over at tweakedaudio.com. Tweaked Audio has been a great partner to the MTR network over the years, and they have a great product. If you're listening to this show, then clearly you use headphones. Unless you're one of those assholes on public transportation blasting music over a speakerphone. Don't be that person. Pick up a pair of earbuds or headphones from Tweaked Audio. They have over-the-ear headphones as well as various types of earbuds in different colors. And now, they have a great pair of affordable Bluetooth earbuds that are perfect for working out and listening to us, your favorite podcast. At checkout, put the code REVIEWS in to get 30% off, free shipping, and free lifetime warranty. So check out tweakedaudio.com. Help yourself with a new pair of headphones and help us out as well. Now, back to the show. Recently, Fox Business, was it Fox Business Channel?
Yeah.
One of their hosts is Charles Payne.
Okay.
He's been accused of sexual harassment and has been suspended. Let's see.
What's up with Fox News and their sexual harassment?
Well, I mean, when you have it's part of the, just like how you had the whole Blerds thing. Well, yeah, when you had the Blerds thing, all right. Yeah. When you have it in an environment that is dude bro central, which is what Fox News is. Yeah. Where like even the women that are on Fox News, they all fit this certain model of most of them are white, blonde. There's a time when Fox and her friends will replace their host, and I didn't realize it because they just replaced her with another hot blonde woman. It's like they have a type they do, and you realize that it's a type of people at the top. So they have this frat boy culture over at Fox News, which we all called out for a long time ago, but now they're white women are getting upset.
Of course,
the white women over Fox are getting upset. So Fox Business host Charles Payne has been suspended pending the outcome of an investigation, and sexual harassment claims made by recurring guests in the network confirmed. The suspicion of making money with Charles Payne host came after the Los Angeles Times reported on Thursday that lawyers for the 21st Century Fox are reviewing allegations made by guests who appeared several times on Fox News and Fox Business Network. So the guest is Scotty Nell Hughes.
Okay.
Which is another conservative white woman who is also fucking trash. This is one of those ones where I kind of wish that everybody involved could lose.
Right.
So let's see.
Yeah, she's garbage. They're both garbage.
The alleged victim, who was not identified by the Times, but everybody seems to know that Scotty Nell Hughes, told her attorney that she had remained in the relationship in hopes it would help her chance. Wait, let me see. Hope that she had remained or would help her chances of landing a permanent position with the news network. Payne admitted to having an extramarital affair with a married woman who appeared on the network in a statement published this week. I'd like to extend an apology to my family and friends for having been involved in a romantic affair that ended 2 years ago.
This nigga ugly as shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The wife, my wife and I have worked hard over these last 2 years to restore the trust in our marriage that has squandered. Again, this is fucking hilarious. Like, here's the thing. I heard about the allegations. I didn't know that this has been turned into he cheated on his wife and it had turned into a full blown like issue here.
Yeah, it's a shit storm.
Right. So
3 years.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Charles Payne. All right. I remember Charles Payne. And this is one of those times when people go, "Oh, Chris, why do you watch this show? Why do you do this?" Like, I used to watch Glenn Beck to yell at the TV because Glenn Beck was terrible.
I remember those days.
But
I used to do the same thing.
Yeah. But he brought on Charles Payne one time to talk about Charles Payne's upbringing, and I want you to hear this man how he talks about being poor and black, and it falls so much into line with that whole black nerds thing that's Josh
meetings when I was a child because I wanted to be better. Charles Payne, CEO of Wall Street Strategies, also from the Fox Business Network, and good friend. Hi.
Hi.
How are you, sir?
Good.
Charles, you wrote an amazing piece. As soon as you saw us talk about it, you said, "You got it all wrong." Explain.
When I was a kid, I grew up first half of my childhood as an Army brat. Ironically, I was born in New York. I was born in Harlem, but immediately we moved. We lived in Pittsburgh a couple of times, Texas a couple of times, Germany. We lived in Japan. We lived in North Carolina, Virginia. And life was just, it was just incredible. It was just, we left our doors open. We'd leave in the morning, play with our friends all day, come home.
Typical American.
Typical, every color friend.
Typical American.
So first thing I want to say is, one,
Special Snowflake is leaking out already, bro.
Not typical American. Second of all, the idea of you being able to, again, I know military families are able to do this, but, and there are negatives to this, but being able to travel, this is something that a lot of black kids don't get to fucking do.
Don't get that opportunity at all.
My first time, we traveled, we used to drive everywhere, though.
Right.
My first ever time flying on a plane was actually when I was in Meyerhoff in
college.
We went to New York, I think, or something like that. Like, it was the first time ever being on a commercial flight.
Yeah, it took me until freshman year of college before,
all right. Like,
I didn't get my passport until I was 27.
Oh yeah, so. I didn't get my passport until whenever we did that trip to DR.
To DR.
So I was well into adulthood by the time I got that passport and stuff like that. So again, not typical American because most of us aren't able to do this.
Definitely not typical black American.
Definitely not typical black American. All right.
Maybe I had one wrestling match, but never knew of fighting or anything like that. And one day I came home from school, and my mother said we're leaving. Her and my father are having problems. So we get on a bus. I'm the oldest, two younger brothers and my mother.
Can we pause it real
ride
quick?
Up from Virginia to
Can I just comment on this nigga's head, though? Like, what the fuck is wrong with his head? Continue.
Yeah, it's like somebody took it, like, his head and just smushed it. Like, put their palm on his lips and put a palm on the back of his head and smush them together.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I just had to. It was distracting.
He literally, you know what? He literally got the egghead. Like, I'm telling you, he gonna talk about how he got bullied. I'm telling you right now, he got called egghead, but it was not because he was smart.
No, it had nothing to do with that.
It couldn't, nigga, you really look like you're an egghead, yo.
New York, Harlem, a childhood friend of hers, and she lets us live in a room in her apartment. And it was just completely night and day. It was, the shock, Glenn, is just amazing that...
Basically, you started having the real nigga experience. Like, that's basically what he's saying. It's like, the shock was, I can't believe, people were living like this? Yes, nigga, yes. People have been living like this their entire life. I mean, I get it. At his age, it probably was a shock.
Yeah.
But, like...
Yeah, because that happens. But, it's kind of like looking at this in hindsight. It's like, fuck what you talking about, bro.
Right.
We got beat up every day for speaking like white people, sounding white, wearing the wrong clothes. And it was just...
Part of me thinks that you might have gotten beaten up for that, but here's the thing, and I talked about this on the Nerd Off. I wore different clothes. I spoke differently. I was the smart dude in the crew sometimes, stuff like that. And you do get picked on sometimes, but I've also found that, and I think Rod talked about this as well, I've also found that a lot of times, like, the street niggas will look out for the nigga like that, yo.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I didn't really get picked on in high school. I mean, I ended up being fucking valedictorian in high school, but I was kind of one of them smart niggas that just got along with everybody. Right. It didn't really happen to me, but mostly, if I was ever picked on, I would always think to myself, well, it's all good. I'm still doing what I need to do in order to get to where I need to be. And people who kind of take it in a different direction from being bullied, I kind of feel like they're not doing what they're supposed to do in order to move on from.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get that, and not even. I don't want to say I get that. And it's not important. It's important. Like bullying, like tears people down.
It does,
and it ruins people. But at the same time, part of me goes, you then took that and then decided I'm gonna hurt as many people as possible. You basically became the villain. And because when you hear Charles Payne later on talk about poor people and some of the things he does and the way he is as a conservative, like it makes you go, oh, you started looking at white people as a savior because black people picked on you, not realizing that white people probably picked on you as well, but you were probably okay with that. Yeah, you know. Let me keep it's weird.
The thing is what happened. What I saw what happened. The way it felt to me was like there's just so much pent up anger and animosity.
Speaking of
that, kids like this kid you just talked about, they have to hide their intelligence, and they have to hopefully be able to escape.
Here's the thing, all right? I've never at any point felt like I had to hide my intelligence. Other side of this is I've talked about my sister sometimes, and my sister definitely did that. Like she would do her homework, my dad would do her homework with her, and then she wouldn't turn her homework in, so fit in with her friends.
Yep.
But here's the thing: she never understood, and people like Charles Payne never understood. People that do that, you don't have to do that. Like that's like saying, like I knew other kids who smoked cigarettes. I knew other kids who did drugs.
Yeah.
I never had to do that to fit in.
Right.
Like, I always feel some kind of way about people going, I did that to fit in. And I get that some people do, and people are susceptible to that.
Especially, like, as a kid. Right. Like, in hindsight, it's easy to think back on, like, these type of situations and be like, oh, well, yeah, it's just easy to kind of do that. But I do think that there's a certain percentage of kids that don't necessarily realize it's that they don't have to do certain things in order to feel a certain way about themselves. And the problem is, like, it's okay to do that when you're a kid, because it's all a learning experience at that point. But I think as you become an adult, at a certain point, you have to take personal responsibility for how you feel about yourself, how you're treating other people. And I think that, I say this often, it definitely is a thing in the black community that we don't take mental health serious enough. At all. And I think that therapy can be an important tool for young adults.
Because when he talks about all this stuff, you never hear him like, I want to know, like, hey, Payne, like, how are you handling the fact that your parents split?
Right.
And that you had an entire, like,
it sounded like there was a lot of other things. Right. Hey, moving around so often as a kid is also not an easy.
Right. It's like, it seems like he narrowed it down to, I got picked on by other black kids, and that's what
I got picked on for not being black enough.
And I feel like a lot of, and it goes back to the how mental health things. Like I feel like a lot of people, they project and deflect a lot of the real issues here. And I feel like speaking as a man, we do this a lot when it comes to women, right?
Yeah.
We deflect a lot of our own personal problems onto the women we're dating or our significant others or just women in general.
Yep.
And it comes out to like, no, nigga, it's actually you. You're the fucking problem, not the women.
And not only that, it's like sometimes people need to realize it's not the reasons so much as it is what you plan to do with things moving forward. And kind of like shifting blame everywhere else. While it's good to acknowledge what the fuck happened, you gotta fucking figure out how you're gonna not be a shitty person.
Right.
Moving forward,
Oh, hold on. What? Come on. Oh.
Fucking touchpad. There you go.
Touchpad. I got water on the touchpad.
Shit.
I'm trying to get shit. Oh, fuck.
Technical difficulties, guys.
Technical difficulties, guys. I'm trying to get the thing to start back up. Oh fuck! It got water. So look, I'm trying to put new ice. I know you probably heard it. I put ice into the into my cup, and
yeah.
it was water. And so I put my finger on the touchpad. There's water there, so couldn't hit play.
Didn't you get a Christmas present?
I just gotta say this is one of the most amazing stories right here.
Briefcase?
Yeah, that was probably one of the, outside of the physical beatings, one of the things that hurt me the most is we had nothing. I mean, when I said nothing, I started working. I've been working straight since I'm 13 years old. We had nothing, but I always wanted to be a businessman. So
I just want to go back to just think about this, right?
Yeah.
Before he was talking about how great his life was, they got to move around a lot.
Yeah, I'm confused,
his father was in the military. We didn't get beat up. We didn't do all this stuff. Then all of a sudden, my parents got divorced, and then my mom left, and she took me here, and so I feel like he's yada-yadaing a lot of traumatic shit that happened because now all of a sudden they have nothing. Now all of a sudden his mom and them had to live with a friend, and apparently is your dad not paying child support? Like, I want to know what's going on here because I feel like he's projecting a lot of things that he's cutting out a lot of important things, and he's only focusing on the idea of. And again, as a child, I get this, but as an adult, I'm like, so you don't see the larger issues here? Like as a child, I get saying, okay, yeah, I blame these kids for picking on me, and my life is all terrible and stuff like that. But like when you look at this dude is not young. He's got to be in like lower mid 40s, right? It's like, dude, what the fuck, man?
It's hard to tell.
Like it's like
right.
So.
But yeah, he's doing a lot of. I hate when people do this. I don't know if you want to call it like suffering Olympics. When they try to like explain the reason why they are by just talking about how shitty things are and comparing it to like other people. My life shittier than yours, or my childhood was shittier than yours. I don't think it's a productive fucking conversation to have, especially as it relates to what he's about to go into.
Right.
So
yeah. So here we go.
Christmas, my mother bought me this plastic briefcase. It was incredible. I was really elated.
How old were you?
Either 12 or 13. And I was just happy because I always wanted a briefcase. And inside was a special gift, a bonus gift of a calculator. So then I took my briefcase to school, and
that's how you keep playing
one day we came back from lunch, and my briefcase, a plastic briefcase with lock, it was cracked open. I mean, there's nothing in there. Everybody in the school, we're all poor. We have nothing. And
why do you suppose that happened?
There was just really a lot of animosity toward kids who, again, if you spoke white, if you got an A.
So again, you see where this is going, and this is what you see. Again, I wouldn't consider Charles Payne a Blerd, but this is the kind of like thought process you see from some of these folks. Where it's like I was made fun of as a kid, and it was because I was smart, and there's a lot of animosity against me because I was smarter, and I did all this other stuff, and I was so much. I
wasn't black enough,
right? And I wasn't black enough. Hey, did you ever think that maybe? And again, not saying that it was right that kids did this because kids are trash. Kids are terrible people. You ever think that maybe you were trying to be an elitist little piece of shit, and people just didn't fuck with you?
Yep. That's also a very good possibility.
Sometimes that happens. Like sometimes, like you know what people don't like. People don't like when they feel like somebody's coming in and rubbing it in their face. And here's the crazy thing about this, because Charles Payne was on the Fox News Network. You would think he would understand that because that's what the people always say about white people, right? But poor white people is like, well, they just didn't like the Obamas rubbing it in their faces. Mm-hmm. They don't like the fact that liberals are rubbing it in their faces. Rubbing the fact that there's gay people can get married in their faces. Like, what do you?
Right. The irony of that statement is ridiculous.
Right. What are you talking about here?
There was a tremendous amount of animosity, not jealousy. I'm talking about animosity that was acted out. And
where does this come from, Charles?
I really believe, honestly, and I believe a lot of this goes back to when black Americans accepted this liberal premise that we're not accountable for anything, that because we're descendants from slaves, that, you know what, it's okay. It's not your fault. You're a victim. It's okay. And they created this sort of...
Look, so people always... This is the first thing I remember. Like, I haven't watched this clip. This clip came out, I think, in 2009. I watched this live when it happened. I have not watched this clip in 8 years. Still a little ice in there.
Oh, yeah, cool.
I have not watched the clip in 8 years. As soon as the Charles Payne sexual harassment thing came up, I was like, "You're gonna have to pull it out because you don't want the water in there."
Yeah, that's fine.
I was like, I remember him doing this. I remember him sitting there across from Glenn Beck and basically blaming black people for not liking other smart black people and having a victim mentality. Like, I remember this from 2009. Like, I remember that. Like, this is the reason why I watched. People always wonder, why would you subject yourself to all those episodes of Glenn Beck and Morning Joe and stuff like that? Because of shit like this. Because when shit comes back, I'm like, hey, you remember that time when Charles Payne went on to Glenn Beck and...
Yeah, I love that you're able to just fucking pull this shit out.
Yeah, I remember all this shit. Like, I'm like, no, I remember you doing this. Like, I still remember when, that's why I still don't fuck with Don Lemon. When Don Lemon did that whole shit with Sidon being really nasty to the Muslim guy that came on talking about, they were trying to build the mosque that was like 4 blocks away from where 9/11 happened. Like,
yeah, I
remember all that stuff. I remember watching some of these things happen when they happen, and when people go, I don't remember that. I'm like, yeah, here you go.
Here you go.
And just to be clear, like, because there's this old stuff, and a lot of us, and I say this with everything I've been saying, that I've had some stuff in my past that is terrible. But here's the thing:
we've grown.
Charles Payne hasn't. He still believes this shit. He finagled it into, a higher profile on Fox,
a job,
and then keeps doing this shit to shit on black people. Like, it gets worse. It gets worse.
Pull, it's not just a physical ghetto I'm talking about, but a mental sort of barrier where you see, okay, Michael Vick is a victim of the justice system, not a person who committed a crime. Mm-hmm. That mentality is pervasive. You see it, and it's over, and it's fed to us, and it's fed to us, and it's fed to us, and we accept it. We take it. And at the end of the day, what we're getting for it, we wait for our welfare checks. We wait for it like, people wait for it like, I'm waiting for my check, like it's something I want.
If you guys were so poor, you were probably getting welfare checks too.
Right.
You were right there, bruh.
Right.
And look, I mean, you were right there. Like, what are you doing?
What are you saying, homie?
But this goes back to this whole thing of being Snowflake. He was only there because of the divorce, and before then, his life was great. You get to travel the world. Right. You get to, I get to deal with other kids, not just black kids. He was out of the ghetto. He wasn't living around a bunch of black people. Let's be honest, that's what it was. He wasn't living around a bunch of black people.
Right.
But once he started doing that, all of a sudden, it all went to shit. Right?
Womp womp.
Worked for, and it's taken away everything, everything that God gave us innately. That man, if you put 2 people on an island with nothing, innately they're going to have a certain desire to survive.
Until the white man shows up and takes that entire island away from them.
Right.
Which is actually what happens. But okay, whatever.
And then it says, what island?
Yeah, it says my island.
All of that's suppressed in our community. And what's left is just this sort of squalor where I got to tell you, it doesn't matter what color you are. If you were born in that neighborhood, Glenn, you probably would have been one of these kids swinging a bat. And if you weren't that kid, you'd be one of these kids hiding his intelligence.
You've never seen me swing a bat.
Right, because I would wear a hood.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be able to identify me, sir. I'm too smart for that.
I want to take a break. I don't want to come back because I want to bring in another guest who's
okay, so I don't know.
You about to bring in Stacey Dash?
I don't know. So I don't know because would you later find out in the story? I don't know how where else it is in this. Later find out in the story, he then goes what happens is he finds out that this nice white guy comes and helps him, and it's literally the white savior comes and saves Charles Payne and introduces him, and that's how he becomes a Republican.
This is
and that's how all that shit happens. But it's the
Fox
same
News version of The Blind Side,
right? But it's the same version you get with some of these black male nerds, where it's like, well, I don't date black women because only white women are the ones that give me any attention. And I'm like, well, did you ever think it's because you're fucking lame and they're fucking lame and you guys share and bond in your hatred of black women?
Yeah. So I don't understand. I can understand having preferences, right? Mm-hmm. I don't understand people that go out of their way to tell who they don't date. Like, I don't know why that's useful. You know what I mean?
Well, no, it's useful to them because it's this idea of
validation
and validation. You know, because and again, for those who think it's just you're just making this shit up. No, I mean we've seen this happen. We've seen black men do this because a black man goes and says some shit like that. There'll be some white woman going, who likes that shit because it's just you can get away with saying it. It's just it's annoying. But I just want to say you can see where this shit comes from, and it's beyond just comic booky stuff like that. I mean, this is literally you go to a lot of these black Republicans.
Yeah.
Not all of them. Like, I did the show with Eljo, and I reminded that some of the black Republicans are okay. Like, I'm cool with Colin Powell and things like that. And some of them are just, they're Republican in certain aspects, but not on social issues like this. But you see it's literally, it's this cooning ass shit where they're one of the good ones.
Yeah.
There's another reason why a lot of the black Bernie supporters would piss me off sometimes. It's like, you're not smarter because you support Bernie. I voted for Bernie, so I know better. And honestly, and Rod had a good episode. I can't remember what episode it was this week. We're talking about socialism because I know Marissa wrote an article, wrote a letter in. They were talking about that. And look, there's a lot of my issue with a lot of the black socialism thing online is that so many of these motherfuckers think they're so much smarter than everybody else that all of us don't know what we're talking about. Like, well, you never listen. You don't know these. Did you know that the Black... Yeah, I do know the Black Panthers had a lot of socialist issues and stuff like that. But I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of us are very indifferent in whether our lack of support isn't that we don't believe in these things. We're like, I don't know if they're going to work. But there's so many of the way they talk to you is, I'm a socialist, you capitalist, and it's the way you talk down to people like they don't fucking know.
Yeah.
No, it's like, come on, man.
You can't have a discussion nor a debate if you don't necessarily respect the other person.
Right.
And
if you don't
respect the other person's intelligence, especially, or ability to make
intelligent decisions,
their own decisions,
right?
Yeah.
And I'd rather you just come out and say that,
right?
Instead of pretending like that way. Here's the thing: you can't be. You can't say you're all for all black people if you're literally going, well, you at this point you do sound like a white person going, oh, I know better than you. Like you niggas just don't know any better. Like it's the talk of when black people vote Democrat, when black people are like, oh no, I'm a Democrat, I vote Democrat. That's what it is. And a lot of the response comes down to, oh, you vote Democrat because you're a slave to the narrative and you don't know any better, and you just like licking boots for massa and stuff like that. Like, no, I vote Democrat because literally it's just the most practical thing I can do right at this point. Yeah, like it's literally a practical decision. You give me a something that I can tangibly put my hands on that I can see as being a definite way forward. I'll support it. Like, I am not loyal to any of this shit.
Right.
But when you talk to me like I'm not just making a decision because I fucking have to. Like, I remember when I think it was Angela Davis came out, and I think it was, man, if I'm wrong about this one, I'm sorry. But I think it was her when she came out and just basically said, like, I'm not narcissistic enough not to vote for Hillary Clinton. It's like, no, it's like, yeah, I have socialist views and I view some of the things, and no, I don't think that Hillary Clinton is the best candidate of all time ever and that we should just all blindly follow her. But it's like, yo, it's Hillary Clinton or Trump. I'm going to pick Hillary Clinton. It's like, for so many of us, it came down to that choice. But how many of these, intellectual black niggas was like, oh, no, you guys just don't know. You guys aren't anti-capitalist enough. You're not radical enough. You don't know this and you don't know that. I'm like, yeah. No, it literally comes down to the fact of there's this choice and that choice looks less horrible. That's literally all my loyalty lies at. And
man, I got in a fucking argument. I guess you could call it an argument. Discussion. Somebody was complaining about Trump, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. That shit sucks. And then the motherfucker followed it up with, man, Bernie would have fucking killed this shit. And I'm like, here we go. And I listen because I do think there were some good fucking things that Bernie was talking about, right? And then I'm like, well, did you vote? No.
Did you vote in the primary at least?
Yeah, he voted in the primary, but decided not to vote in the fucking general election. And I'm like, bruh, like, I can't even. I don't want to talk to you right now about this. I mean,
it,
you have a choice not to vote. I get that, but at the same time, if you,
well, it's one of those things that it's weird, right? Because it's like if you like not voting, I'm not sticking to my principle and stuff like that. Like my principle is just trying to live. Like that's my principle.
Right.
Like I'm trying to do the best I can. If that means taking a small step forward instead of a giant leap back, I'm gonna take the small. I'm gonna always take the small step forward.
I mean, there's no way, me being the pragmatic person that I am, there's no way that even if I didn't like Hillary as much as I liked Bernie, there's no way that you could have told me that I would prefer to not vote
Right.
instead of voting for her, with Trump being not incumbent, but with Trump being the other candidate. There's no way. There's no way that even makes sense to me, but it's a thing. And I think that's an issue that I have with a lot of Bernie supporters, not just black Bernie supporters, but like you were saying, Bernie supporters in general can be a little,
it's just,
kind of
it's just one of those weird things where,
and this is a different type of woke, but they usually kind of look at me like, well, you're not woke enough to understand why Bernie's thing. And I'm like, well, that's not necessarily it.
Yeah.
Also, there's other things that maybe you're not woke enough about.
Right.
That is why other people didn't vote for him during the primary.
Well, you're like, it's always funny when I get people call me a Hillbot, right? And I'm just like, you guys do realize I literally had an episode called "I'm not going to vote for Hillary Clinton," right? I was like, I am not a Hillary Clinton. I'm not like a huge Hillary Clinton person. I never donated to campaign, never got a bumper sticker saying Hillary Clinton. I didn't vote in the primary. I voted non-committal. Cause I was like, either one of these people that wins, I don't care. Cause I don't like either one of them.
Yeah.
But you know what? No matter which one of them wins, I'm voting for the nominee. That's it. Like sometimes, what happens is these people get in these small groups and they start acting like they're persecuted by these other groups, and like, oh, we're just so much because we are so much higher enlightened than everybody else. And I'm like, no, that really isn't it. It's really that you guys are douches. You guys are some assholes. Like, and so every time I hear these guys talk about, oh, we got picked on for being smart, I'm like, you were probably one of those dicks. Yeah. That comes to me like as a Bernie supporter and wants to talk down to me, and I go, you know what? Fuck this dude. Like, cause that's the thing. Like, I found that people, in the hood, which I fucking hate. I hate when people go in the hood. I hate when people say in the ghetto. I like when people in our communities, no matter what their background, see that you're a smart dude. Sometimes you get picked on. Like, you know what it reminds me of? The movie Dope. I remember when Dope came out, and I thought, oh, this movie's great. I love Dope. I love how it was. I love that he had a character who was smart, who was a bit of a nerd, who was a little bit out there. And then they had the whole drug deal.
Right, his circumstances.
Forced. He had to deal with some of the real niggas and all this stuff going on, right? And I remember some of the Blerd community not liking that movie.
Yeah.
Well, why does it have to be like drugs? Why do they do this? Why do they do this? I'm like, because sometimes that happens.
Sometimes that happens.
I
mean, we talked a little bit about that in the review for Slight also.
Right. It's like...
sometimes that shit happens.
Sometimes that shit happens. Like, I think that what it is sometimes is people feel this shame of that part of the community. And I'm like, shouldn't feel any shame. Well, here's the thing. Even if you feel shame, shame's not on us.
Right.
It's not on black people. It's on the fact that this is the life we have to live sometimes.
Right.
Because
and you know what? Guess what, guys? Even as far away from it as you want to be from all of that,
you're one
it's
healthy.
Away. You're one bad day away from that, but also it's healthy to acknowledge the fact that that's just how things can be sometimes. And if you want to turn a blind eye to it, that's fine, but that's not reality.
I make really good money right now. I'm only where I'm at now because my dad got lucky. I mean, he was an affirmative action hire at his job, and he was able to rise up through the ranks there and give us the upbringing that we could get out of the situation he was in. Like, he was in a situation where he lived in a house with his other with his brothers and sisters. My grandfather was a mean ass son of a bitch.
Yeah.
He fences.
Yeah.
Think fences.
Shit.
Think Denzel Washington's character from Fences, but probably worse, right?
Yeah.
Does it mean something? Like, to the point of one day my dad had to
that
steal.
movie was uncomfortable for me to watch, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad at one point stole like 10 cents or something like that out of my dad's wallet so we could eat that day.
Shit.
And end up getting, when my grandfather found out, end up beating his ass for it, right? he stole money to eat.
Yeah.
You know, and this is something they had to do. Like him, my dad and my one of my aunts, they would beat up other kids for their lunch money because they didn't have lunch money. Like this is a situation that my father grew up in. Like this is not like in 1870. Like no, this is literally like within this like not too long ago, right? This is what they grew up in. If they didn't get where they were. Mm-hmm. And some of my dad's brothers and sisters didn't make it. Like some of them literally did not get the break he got. Like he got a break. He went into the military. He got his associate's degree. He got into satellites and computers, and he able to get.
Right.
Without that shit, I don't get into computers. I don't get to where I'm at.
Right.
Like so many of us are either the first generation or maybe the second generation where we get this chance. Where you look at a white family, sometimes they're like 10 generations in to what they can do. So when I see these nerds and these other people, and I'm saying nerds in general, these people that just think they're so much more elitist than this, like you're fucking not, man. You're so close to this shit. When I see this motherfucker talking about I got picked on in college, like I get picked on in school. Like I get it that it's uncomfortable, but you can't use that to sit there and blanket the entire black community and think that you made it some kind of way and you forgot this shit. Like
it's fuck nigga logic. Like and. There's a part of this that kind of makes me feel like these are the same guys that complain that women don't like them because they're too nice.
Yeah, the nice guy situation, right?
Yeah. Which I got maybe some advice for you, Blerds that might be straddling the line between being a fuck nigga and not. So I found this article on Facebook, actually. It's basically called "Are you a nice guy or a good man?" There's a big fucking difference between the two, and I'm just gonna read a few. Mostly, I'm gonna read the ones that are kind of pertinent to what we've been talking about. The first one is a nice guy is worried about his reputation, but a good man is only concerned with his character. Let's see. A nice guy will blame others, circumstances, or fate for his lot in life. A good man recognizes his role in whatever has transpired, takes responsibility, and when necessary, redirects his course. And that kind of talks to what I was talking about before. He was just kind of blaming the circumstances on, or blaming how his life turned out on the circumstances instead of just taking control of that shit. Let's see. A nice guy will say what others want to hear, while a good man will say what others need to hear. And this is one that I think is kind of important with kind of the situation. A nice guy won't apologize even when he's wrong because he thinks it makes him weak, and a good man is quick with apologies and even faster with fixing shit. Yeah. That's it's very fucking important. But basically, it's an entire list of just because you're a nice guy don't mean you're a good fucking person. And you need to take responsibility for not being a fuck nigga. Yeah. I mean, it's so many of this stuff. And this translates beyond, just the nerd stuff, too, and just being smart. Like, you see this stuff with, like, going into the good guy stuff. Like, this is stuff, like, with some of these the Twitter dudes who sit there and blame everything on women. Like, you have the thing that happened with, like, I was at work, literally working on a presentation, wasn't paying attention to stuff, and I saw the Rob Kardashian and Black China stuff go down. And all I need to know was this nigga released, he released nude pictures.
Nude pictures. You're wrong, dude. Like, I get it. Hey, you're hurt. You're upset. Can't do that shit. That's it.
There is a certain lack of empathy that you have to have in order to do that. Even if it's to your enemy. Like, I don't understand how anyone would be okay with that. Mm-hmm. If you're not a sociopath. You know what I mean? I don't understand how you could think that that's fucking cool. It doesn't matter how much you hate somebody. You don't do that kind of shit. There was one more I wanted to read, and that'll be the last one. And it is shit. I just lost it. Here we go. A nice guy fears rejection, and so he seeks validation. And a good man is self-validated and does not tie his worth to whether he is accepted or rejected. And that
Oh, so you mean when the woman rejects me and says that she doesn't want my attention, and I say "fuck you, bitch"? I never wanted you in the first place. Saying that doesn't make me a good man.
No, it doesn't make.
Oh
you
wait,
know,
but I thought
But I'm a nice. But you're a nice guy. You're a nice guy.
And she should realize that me wanting to put my dick in her is like she should thank me for that. I'm just saying, like, she should thank me for that.
Sounds like you're seeking validation, but
I'm not seeking validation. I'm just saying I'm not going to apologize for this because I know I'm right.
Look,
okay,
Dr. Jax has spoken, and I think I'm going to diagnose you with fuck nigga syndrome.
fuck nigga syndrome. Yeah. Like, oh my god, yo, it's just one of the things. Speaking of fuck nigga syndrome, let's move on. Let's move because we're a little bit behind here. Fuck nigga syndrome. Let's talk about. We need to talk more about this. Charlemagne is a fuck nigga, and like I don't understand why anybody.
It's so hard because sometimes like Charlemagne I like how upfront he is with like his yes, and like he doesn't let motherfuckers slide on a lot of shit as far as asking them questions or calling them out on their bullshit. However, he has so much bullshit about himself that it's hard for me to give a fuck about what he's talking about.
So here's the thing, from what I think what you're talking about is he'll call people on their bullshit when it comes to hip-hop. If it's hip hop shit, if it's hip hop shit, he'll do that.
You know what I think though? It's because he's not intelligent enough to be able to engage or be that same type of engaging interviewer.
So this is gonna be where we
he's a fuck nigga too.
This is gonna be where we sound like hypocrites because we just went on the whole thing about how you don't have to be act like you're more elitist, intelligent than everybody, and now we're gonna be that intelligent. We're gonna be those elitist, intelligent niggas who go, "This nigga's stupid." No, because Charlemagne is dumb as fuck.
Except sometimes you have to admit that you don't know everything and that you're not smart about certain things, and you gotta fucking fall back on that shit.
Sometimes,
but don't pretend. Don't fucking pretend like. You know everything.
Look. We don't have the science podcast.
Yeah.
So I don't do a lot of sciencey shit on here.
Right.
I'm the science niggas. I have P Funk and Koki for that shit because they the science niggas. I'm the science niggas. All right. So I'll quote some studies, but I won't go too far into them because like I'm not the science nigga. All right. Yeah. That's where you got to know your fucking role. All right. Charlemagne doesn't know that, and be bringing people on, and just you can tell when he doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about, and. So he brought on, I'm not even gonna play the Umar Johnson bullshit, right?
Thank you.
This is Dr. Wesley Muhammed,
which I haven't seen this yet. So.
Oh, this is great. And they talk on the rise and resurrection of black men and women in America. And he's a 5%er, which is always great to have the 5%ers on here because black men and women are God, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I see why. Okay, sure.
You're watching The Breakfast Club.
I like Angela Yee, by the way.
Morning, everybody.
Yeah, I do too. When they let her to speak,
dog, I hate
when they let her speak because apparently she doesn't. I almost forget she's there
sometimes
because sometimes
they talk over her so often.
So
DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlemagne.
And DJ Envy is dumb as fuck. I'm just gonna throw that out there too. So
in the guy, we are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
That's right.
Brother Wesley Muhammed.
Come on, brother Wesley Muhammed.
Black God. How are you?
Welcome.
Already,
as soon as somebody introduces you as Black God,
my black brother, my black God.
Oh, and just so you guys know, Dr. Wesley Muhammed I believe he has his PhD. He has a BA
in black nigga shit,
and not in science. He has a BA in religious studies.
And
I believe his PhD
that's not theology. That's different than theology.
Yeah, and let me because I want to find out exactly what his
I don't
PhD
know
is.
who this nigga is.
I want to make sure I get his. Okay, so he has a bachelor's of arts of religious studies in Morehouse. Graduated with honors. Religious studies. He has a master's degree in Islamic studies. Okay, he has a PhD in Islamic studies with a focus on early theology development of Islam. All right, that is what his PhD is in. I just want to throw that out there and be clear.
Tell them who you are, brother Muhammad.
Brother Dr. Wesley Muhammed, aide of the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. And
is he still around?
Worker in
Farrakhan is still around.
And just so you know, this is not our audio that's fucking him going in and out like that. This nigga keeps moving around in front of the mic, so you can't really hear him, and he sounds like this.
It's like below his,
and
it's like the mic is at his nose.
Yeah. They didn't even give him the mic at his place. So all
he got to do is adjust his chair.
Yeah, but
rise and resurrection.
He's not a scientist. He's a
Absolutely. Now you started off as a 5%er. What about the 5%ers made you gravitate towards them?
Well, be clear, I'm still 5%.
Okay.
5% mean you.
His eyes look crazy, dog.
God is, and once you know, you
yes,
conceal that, which will make you the 10%, or you teach it. I continue to teach the black man is God, so Allah willing, I'll be 5% to my casket drop. Now,
Can
when
we pause
I
real
first
quick?
encountered the teachings of Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
I was just gonna say, I don't understand. I'm not gonna shit on anyone's religion, but I don't understand the idea of having a religion where you say one type of person is better than everybody else.
Oh no,
so
I do.
That whole idea of being black man is God. I'm like,
oh, I get it. I got it for you because I've been listening to a lot of the last podcasts when I left.
Oh, that's
way
my
too
shit,
much,
bro.
You do that because you're a cult.
Exactly, and that's exactly where I was going with it. Okay, so you beat me to it. That's exactly where I was going with it. Listen, I was like, I'm not sure that that's a religion anymore at that point.
I just found out Henry Zabowski was the dude from Your Pretty Face. My
yes,
Pretty Face Going to Hell. I was like,
oh, you didn't know that? That's why I started watching that show.
So now the shows are even funnier now. Can I just see him as fucking Gary in his yellow shirt?
Yeah.
And being Gary. But so now I've listened to way too much because my commute to work is so long. I listen to nothing but that now.
Yep.
And so it's been now everything's a cult to me.
Okay.
So
and then that makes sense. Then.
Yeah. So every time I hear people talk about some shit like this, I'm like, oh, that's a fucking cult. Like when Umar Johnson came out, and people were like, well, just he has some good points. I'm like, oh, nigga, this is how cults get. He doesn't have
his marijuana thing.
He doesn't have. Oh, that's this dude.
Oh, it's this dude. Oh shit. Then I
yeah.
did see that. Okay.
Then the flesh of the black man, but that spiritual power must manifest itself or convey itself through a physical conveyor.
I'm jumping through this.
It is an actual fact. It is a genetic fact, a biochemical fact, an archaeological fact, a mathematical fact that
just so you know, he listed everything that he does not have a degree in. Mm-hmm. All right, he doesn't have a degree
so
in
archaeology. Tell us these facts about
archaeology.
Shit that you know.
He has no degree in physiology. He has no degree in mathematics. So just letting you know, this nigga has a degree in religion. All right, I just want to make sure we're perfectly clear on this. I think this is very, very important.
He might be watching like them YouTube MIT videos about chemistry.
Yeah, true.
They put them all up online.
Conveyor of that higher spiritual force, the most optimal or best or perfect conveyor of that higher spiritual force is the physical body of the black man.
You know what I realized? I realized I don't talk enough. And when I say I don't talk, I know I have a podcast, but I don't talk enough and just use randomly enunciated words like I am just saying the black man is.
It's like if you took one of those like Japanese sex robots, and then you like uploaded like a random word generator. Mm-hmm. That's what it would fucking sound like. This motherfucker is just saying random words.
Oh yeah, I wish I put out where exactly in here you talk. Let me see if I can find out exactly where you put
with the marijuana
with the marijuana stuff. Let me see.
It was planted and does have.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Because this whole clip is like 49 minutes long, and it's just
and we ain't doing that. I mean, we're not trying to indoctrinate you guys either. So
Corpse called it EA.
Okay. A little bit further in here. Let me see.
Maybe an African American study class because it's easier. I learn more.
Okay.
Here we go.
And we think by virtue of the fact.
Hold on. Here we go.
Conscious as I like to think I am, as pro-black as I am, I would not recommend or even allow my children to pursue an African studies or black studies degree.
So
so you would recommend
for the youth out there, because this is a difficult situation. My daughter's 13. They're looking for majors and things to do. What degree would you suggest for kids that are trying to expand and try to be better and try to build? Because you go to college and most of these kids don't know. They go communications because they hear radio and everything else, or they
want to be DJ Envy.
Well, look, so before we even get to, I couldn't remember if this was before or after this. Yeah. So this is a part where he going in, and I might have already passed the part, but it kind of goes to this thing. We always had those PWI and HBCU debates, and I don't give a fuck what school you went to. If you're black, you got a degree, you're fucking good in my book, right? As long as it's not in religious studies. So I'm fucking with you. Fucking with you. But he kind of goes into this thing about, again, it's this idea that black people are at fault for something like that. So he goes into the thing about how, and I'm going to set this up because I might end up playing it or I might have gone too far, where they're talking about, people go and black kids go into these Africana studies and they're not worth it, which I think is a bullshit thing, right? Africana studies covers a lot of stuff that, honestly, you're never taught, right?
Yeah.
African studies and African American history is not taught in our schools anymore. So if a black kid goes into Africana studies in fucking college, that's a good thing because they're going to learn about their fucking history that they're not taught. And you can't depend on your parents teaching you that shit because one, they might not have time, and two, they might not know themselves. So this idea that somehow the Africana studies major for a black student is stupid is literally, it kind of goes into the whole white people thing about why they've kind of watered down history. Because it was American history. You already know American history. We kicked the British's ass. We planted the flag. We got rid of slavery. We won the world wars. Ta-da, we're done. Like, that's the way they teach American history now, which is cuts out a lot of shit. Cuts out a lot of genocide. Cuts out slavery. Cuts out all the horrible things that history has done. So this idea that you don't need to teach this, it's bullshit. Also goes and you hear what he says, like, a lot of these black students, they're going into a communication degree. I'm like, what? What? Really? Who?
As if that's
like, is that even a degree? Like, you just go into, like, I'm going to college. I'm going to go into communications. Communications into what? Like, what kind of communication?
Right, because there's lots of different.
Well, people want to be DJ Envy. Actually, today, because you have podcasts, everybody can be DJ Envy from their fucking living room. So we don't actually need to go in to do that shit. But okay, nigga.
Also, there's more that you can do with mass communications degree besides.
All right, so again, what kind of communication? Because every time I'm emailing people now for San Diego Comic-Con, guess who I look for in the list? I look for people that have the communications publicists because that's what they're...
I was going to say publicists, people that do public relations. Like some of the most important people, voices of large corporations and important people have.
But let's trash communication degrees. Though.
Yeah,
okay, let's do that. All right. So anyway, playing.
Maybe they should do theology
or business management and marketing.
Religious studies
or finance because they think they can run a hedge fund. Yeah. What degrees do you think people should look towards?
Brother, we have to invest more in agriculture and the sciences. We have to
again, this nigga has degrees in religious studies.
Right.
Invest in nation building skills. That's where we're at today. Look, family. Every day on the news, this society is sending the strongest messages possible that we are not welcome here. The movement now to make America great again is to make America white and slave owning again.
That is
where we're going.
Like,
this
nobody ever
will
said
not
before.
slow down. Our only option is a nation of our own. But that can only be a reality if we build the nation. So we have to
pause this real quick.
Nation.
I'm not gonna lie. I do wish that Wakanda was real and that I lived there.
Yeah, no,
that's all I want to say.
I just want to know when this nigga says we're gonna build a nation. Does he mean like we're gonna find a volcano and literally have it build an island out of nothing? Because like, where are we gonna build this nation at?
On the moon, bro.
Ah, moon. Okay, no, we were talking about Wolfenstein. You're right. Yeah. All right, carry on, my religious studies nigga, yo. Who doesn't have any of the degrees he's telling people we need to get into.
We must invest in the sciences in college.
On the
we
moon.
have to invest in the sciences.
Hashtag
we run
moon
from
talk.
that.
Mm-hmm. Moon niggas.
Moon.
As black people.
I don't know if we run from it or we haven't
Mars,
celebrated it
Mars,
enough
bitches.
over the past 20 or 30 years. I feel like we celebrated, entertainment and athletics
That's
more than we
absolute.
did.
And this is where Charlemagne comes into being an asshole.
I figured. Oh, he's about to be an asshole.
No, just what he just said there. Like this idea of, I just feel like we celebrate athletes and entertainers, and we don't celebrate smart niggas. It's like that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's completely fucking bullshit. We definitely do.
So I want to walk back what I said before about the fact that Charlemagne's not intelligent enough to press people that are outside of hip hop and music and shit. I don't think that's the case right now. I think that he believes this nigga and that he watches his YouTube videos over and over again. And at this point, he's asking him questions that he agrees with and that he's seen in other videos, and he just wants this guy to have a platform to relay that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, no, I fully I'm tired of people saying Charlemagne's just doing that. No, I believe he does this because he believes in this shit.
He's got an agenda.
Again, what he just said there was, I feel like we do that, and I'm like, no, we have always celebrated black excellence in this country, in our communities and things like that. We have been the only ones to do that. If you know black scientists, if you know black intellectuals, it's because black people have made you aware of them because nobody else will. So this idea that we only celebrate the entertainers and that's bullshit. That is
absolute bullshit.
Absolute bullshit. And when people say that, they're telling on themselves and saying that what you're doing is you're not listening to other black people. You're listening to white people because that is who promotes the athletes and the entertainers. And I will say that athletes and entertainers, some of them are also smart too.
Right.
Yeah. So
and there's nothing wrong with being an athlete or an entertainer.
Exactly.
But there's more to being black than being an athlete or an entertainer.
And let's not also, I feel like when people say this stuff, they ignore the fact that being an athlete and entertainer for black people sometimes was the only way out.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't go to school.
And even still, in some cases, it's the only way out.
It's the only way you could get ahead. It's the only way you could get a degree. It's the only way you could go to college. It's the only way you could do some of these things. It's the only way for you to make it because you had no other fucking choice. So this idea that, we only support we only celebrate the athletes because sometimes those athletes are the only ones being able to make it out of their fucking communities.
Yep.
Because the smart kid can't get the scholarship. Because they're talking about how affirmative action just means the smart kid can't pass the test because their public schools are terrible. Like this when I hear this from other black people, it drives me fucking insane at this point because it's like you should know better.
Yeah,
and especially in 2017 to say something like that. Come on, man.
It's
come on,
fucking ridiculous.
Come on, like it's just fucking bullshit.
Being an engineer or architect or a lawyer.
I also think those courses
doctor.
are very hard and very difficult. Like you go to college and those
easier to
courses,
do that than being a rapper.
Well,
it's easy because it's actually a blue.
It is actually
blueprint to do that.
But not necessarily. It takes a lot more reading, a lot more studying, a lot more of your time. Like you go to college and you see the kids in the library.
That's what that's what's
called hard work.
It's called going to college.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, look, in order to be successful at anything, right? Whether it's being a rapper or an engineer, you have to work hard. You got to focus on what you're doing. Yes, sometimes you need breaks, right? But you need big breaks in order to get to certain places. But hey, guess what? It takes fucking hard work.
In order to be an athlete.
Don't try to, yeah.
In order to be an athlete.
Both of these niggas, and I haven't heard anything from Angela Yee yet.
No.
Is she here?
Yeah, she's there. Every now and then she'll say something, but it's very rare.
But both of these niggas pissing me off right now.
That study those courses, they don't necessarily, have that great college experience. They're not at the parties. They're not enjoying themselves. You know what?
Yes, nigga, we are. Nigga, me and Jax both got engineering degrees. He's computer engineering. I'm fucking computer science engineering. We fucking went to college.
We got stories.
We got stories. Nigga, we got drunk. We got fucked up. We partied our asses off. We
even talked about a few of the parties on this podcast.
We did some illegal shit. Like, nigga, what the fuck are you talking? Like, this is the shit I'm talking about. Like, it's this idea of separating people and making them seem like the nerd is like this standoffish thing that is so hard to obtain and only the elite few can get it. It's like, so nigga, what?
It's funny. He's almost proven the other guy's
right
point. Whatever his name was.
Yeah,
the guy from Fox
Charles
News.
Payne.
Yeah.
He's doing it. It's like it's the two opposing groups that the extremes.
It's the extremes.
The two fucking extremes, and everybody else in the middle going, "Nigga, what the fuck are you talking about?
What do y'all talk about?
Like we party so fucking hard.
Sitting in the middle, Kanye shrugging at both of these niggas.
Like we have black fraternities, nigga.
Right.
Because those courses are so hard, they have to study all the time, and a lot of students shy away from that and say, "I'll take an easier class." Like maybe something like I mean I never took really African.
Other thing too I hate about this.
You hear what he was about to say.
But you know you do know what white students do this too, right?
Right.
White students do. I'm taking sports management.
American studies, maybe an African American study class because it's easier. I learn more. Of this.
And by the way, just say African American studies is not an easy course to get into, and if you really want to do that, because here's the thing: them African American studies professors, particularly the black ones, because most of them are black, and I will say most because some of them they're not. You get a Rachel Dolezal or something else, but they're not letting you. You didn't do Summer Bridge with us during Meyer Hall, but I did, and I can't remember what the name of the professor was, but she was not letting us fucking slide through that African American Studies class we took, taking our stuff. Like, you're not gonna slide on that shit, dog.
I can't say I didn't slide through my African American Studies, but that's because the teacher was. It doesn't matter, but yeah.
You're ruining the talking point here, man. No, I'm
kidding. Yeah, no, but no, I'm fucking with you. But yeah, for the most part.
But if you're actually
mine was a personal.
But you weren't well that, and you were not getting a degree in it either.
No, that's true.
Right, you were just taking a class. Like
now, my intro to black music class was a serious fucking class. We listened to music and we wrote fucking reports and shit, and it was like, motherfucker wasn't letting us slide at all. So.
But the African American, like, why's the African American study got to be the easy one,
right?
You know what the easiest class was at UMBC? What was it? The science of water science. Remember we had that water.
I never took that class.
I took
human geography instead.
I was one class short. I was one credit short, so I had to take another lab. I was one lab credit short, so it was a class we literally called. It wasn't called the science. It was like. I can't remember what the name of the actual class was. Everybody called it water science.
It felt like it was science of it was science of water or some shit like that, or science of life or
life science or something like that. It was something stupid, but we all called it water science because it was literally niggas just going in there looking at water.
Right.
And that was literally the easiest class, and everybody knew it was a fucking. And everybody knew it was an easy class, and you would come in and the teacher would go, "I know everybody thinks it's an easy class, but it's not an easy class." And it turned out it was the easy class.
It was easy as fuck.
Right, it was easy as shit.
Oh man!
But it was a science class. It wasn't Africana Studies,
right? Which is an arts and humanities class.
This is my history.
And we think by virtue of the fact that we're black that we're gonna get an A.
We're gonna get an A.
No,
I like what you said about how it's not practical though. Like, what's the point of it?
No, it isn't. But when I say we
see again, that's Charlemagne saying, I don't see what the point of getting an African American study because you're not taught it anywhere else. You dumb, ignorant motherfucker.
Especially like these days, I feel like there's two things that you aren't really taught in school. God, and it's so stupid that it's 2017 and this is still a thing. But like you said, black history and black studies. And the other one is I feel like there's not a lot of information that kids learn about LGBT history at all. And I personally feel like that needs to be at least a chapter in in history classes in high school.
If we have
maybe even in middle school.
If we have Africana Studies class, we should have an LGBTQ.
Yeah, and
studies.
some schools do.
Because you're absolutely right. We got none of that. Like,
no.
I'll be honest. I'm one of the privileged that my mom was also an elementary school teacher, and obviously she's a black woman, so I got a lot of my black history from my mom. And so sometimes I'm very skewed as to what is taught in school because I merge what my mom taught me and what I actually learned in school.
I was forced to read books every summer. So
same here. So then I forget that sometimes, some of the stuff actually wasn't taught by a teacher, but it's stuff I either read because I was forced to read, or I was my mom taught me myself, or we went to different places.
Right,
we went to the museum, some of that. And then you can think about it, like, that's my mom. These are our parents forcing to do this. What if your parent is working, just to put a roof over your head, and you don't have time to do, and they don't have time to give you that time. You don't have time for that. So this idea of Charlemagne going, "Oh no, I agree. What's the point of getting Africana stuff?" Like, again, this is why I don't fuck with this nigga, because he does shit like this all the time, and then people go, "Oh well, no, I think it's a very good discussion. I think it's fucking not."
Yeah,
he doesn't know what he's talking about, and the idea of these courses, it's not even that. we should take less courses. It should be more mandatory, not just for black students, but white students need to take Africana studies because they need to know more about, the history of the world, and that'll probably help some of these things.
I feel like any person that's going into education, anyone that's going to be an educator, should have at least one African American studies course on their transcript. And if they go to a college, there also needs to be an LGBT fucking. I'm
gonna be perfectly honest. You know what? I think
that's never gonna happen. But I'm just saying, like, it needs.
And I'm thinking as somebody who's not a teacher, but
yeah.
I'm not a teacher, but I was raised by one. So
yeah.
I feel like, especially when it comes to college curriculum, it needs a complete overhaul. Obviously, you still have your major structure and what you need to do and stuff like that, and you need to get stuff in your major. But I believe that not just take what you were saying and go beyond that. I think every fucking student needs to, because
I agree. I think the students and the educators need to.
You have these the core classes you need to take, and I'd actually even say take some of that fucking math out. Because you don't need all that. Take some of the science, because you're forced to take some of the science. Forced to take chemistry and physics, or you're trying to take a certain number of science. Take some of that shit out and force in some of these studies into other cultures. Definitely put in some history, some political science, stuff like that. Like, put some stuff in there. Some finance. Because I took econ.
Yeah.
I didn't have to, but I took econ.
Right.
Force in economic stuff so people can be a little bit more financially literate.
But see, like, all of that stuff should, in my opinion, it should happen before college. Your first exposure to any of that stuff shouldn't be college.
Oh, absolutely.
You should be learning about gay history and black history and economics before you even get to college.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, it should be where you just want to know more because you're interested in it. You know what I mean?
And that's across the board. That's not just for black students.
Yeah, that's across the board.
To be perfectly honest, I think white students need it way more than anybody else, to be perfectly fucking honest. But so when people go, oh, no, I don't really need to know this, it's fucking stupid.
Absolutely.
Shy away or run away from the sciences. As students, math is hard for us. And as parents, as black parents. And
I just want to say, again, I want to point out, this nigga has a BA in religious science. Religious studies. He has a master's in Islamic studies and a PhD in Islamic studies.
Do the math,
so he has none of the math. He
And
can't do the math because he ain't got none of it.
When my children are having difficulty in pre-calculus, I don't punish them as hard for a D in pre-calculus as I do for a D in English.
I agree.
Well, that is the problem. Hold up. Pause that shit. So you only punish them when they get a D in English? Sounds like you are perpetuating the problem.
Well, the nigga, it's a problem because he ain't living his raps in the first place. it's not like I'm sorry. I'm tired of being dictated by niggas.
But he's obviously putting more of an importance over English than math. Yet he thinks that more people need to go into science and math.
Live your raps, nigga, and then talk.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
And notice that Envy and fucking Charlemagne just
just eating out of his fucking hand.
The white man built this world with one book of mathematics.
They built the whole world. But I thought that the black man was
stop.
God.
Stop.
And out of our library of mathematics. So we are the embodiment of mathematics. Our children need to know it. Brother Charlemagne, you made an important point, though. We celebrate the wrong skill sets. We celebrate the wrong type of black people. We celebrate.
I'm gonna pause and keep going.
Celebrate the nigga way more than we celebrate the black god. And that's why, even though I did not vote for President Obama the second go round, but that's because he allowed Hillary Clinton to kill our brother Muammar Gaddafi. I voted for him the first time, and today, despite his politics, I make no apology for that, because President Barack Obama did something that's critical to black life.
What was that?
he intellectually bested the best of white people.
I can't. First of all, I hate looking at this nigga talk, dog.
Yo,
it bothers me so much.
He enunciates every word with his eyebrows.
Yes. And his fucking, he got, crazy eyes. You watch, or you've seen the first season of Orange is the New Black. He's fucking crazy eyes. And it makes me uncomfortable. And I'm pretty sure that Angelina Yee was not talking during this whole thing because she's fucking uncomfortable.
Right. Like, his entire, every time I pause the clip here, his face.
It's like.
It's just like, nigga, he's making, what he's making? He's making that face that when you have a really bad shit, but it can't come out.
Yeah.
And you, so every word it looks like he taking a shit.
Or, you ever be at a bar talking to somebody and you know somebody around you farted?
Right.
And you try and talk through it, but you like, bruh, I can't do this shit. He got that somebody farted face. Look at this shit right here, bro.
This nigga's face.
What is this? We might have to make that the picture for the show.
Oh man, can I?
Can you print screen this shit?
Oh god, I'm gonna find this. I can't. I don't even know how to print screen on this.
You probably. It's all good.
Oh fuck, yo.
2239. We'll figure it out.
Oh god, yes. Remind me of that, yo.
Yeah.
Good god. What else is
on black bodies by the U.S. government? Why do I say that? So marijuana and Molly.
Oh, okay. Here we go.
Are the two staples of hip hop right now. And the drum majors of those drugs don't even necessarily partake. That's an example of the weaponizing of hip hop. Hip hop is our culture, but it's been weaponized against us.
Why is it? Why niggas like this always act like it's only black people that smoke weed?
Right. Look, as somebody that lived in California for 9 years, shit, more white people do smoke weed. Just
more
from
white people
a
do
pure
drugs, period.
Yeah, but also just from a pure population standpoint.
Right.
Obviously.
Come on, man.
So that's what I mean by the celebration of the nigga. The nigga culture. The drug culture is death.
Yo, I know some dope ass engineers
by
that smoke
design.
weed.
We celebrate it, but it's.
I know a lot of people who
I know some dope ass scientists that smoke weed.
Look, I know a dope ass former president who smoked weed. His name was Obama. So he was just talking about how much he loved Obama and blah 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 blah.
All that bullshit.
Obama smoked the fuck out of some weed.
Yep.
So death to black life.
Now, you've also stated, I believe, about medical marijuana that there's chemicals in there.
Yeah, Angela trying to get them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You wrote a book, The Assault on the Black Man, Black Manhood, and Black Masculinity, understanding.
Yes, sir.
The assault on the black man, black manhood, and black masculinity.
Absolutely. And to understand the assault, you have to understand the point you just raised, Sister Angela. Marijuana, we're not talking about, when we say medical marijuana in 2017, it's really laughable. Natural cannabis, the cannabis that God planted, which he didn't plant in Africa.
Planted it. Is it the black God that planted it, or was it the white man that built the?
Well, because see, if the black man's God, well, the black man's God, then God is a black man. That means black man pointed.
But the white man built the world.
Oh fuck! I'm very confused right now.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm trying to understand.
But just also realize he's going to be going into medical marijuana. And Jax, real quick, because you know some niggas that smoke weed, and I know some niggas that smoke weed. How many niggas you know smoke medical marijuana and not just some marijuana?
Here's the thing: the shit doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Yeah. But most niggas I know ain't smoking medical marijuana.
Right.
They just smoking weed from the corner.
People were until it was legal and all of that shit. It depends, you know. Some people like having their papers in order before they do that shit, so they do medical marijuana.
But most people don't.
Most niggas we know. Most of them get it straight from the earth.
Straight from the earth that God created, which we don't know if it's a white God or a black God. Yeah, we don't know. Okay.
In Central Asia, in cold climate, that natural cannabis has great medicinal value. That's a very different thing than loud. That's a very different thing than Kush. The chemical composition.
What do you know about loud, son?
I'm trying to figure out what the nigga knows about chemistry.
I'm trying. This nigga. So is he saying he smoke weed? Because he over here calling weed loud as if he is a frequent.
Here's the thing.
He's no longer a visitor. He's a.
The way he's enunciating all of his words and moving his mouth while he speaks.
Yeah.
I think he might be on some loud now.
I mean, he might be on that loud with that PCP.
He's speaking like you do when you're either drunk or high, and you got to speak to a cop. And you gotta make sure.
Like you gotta
make
you know
sure
that point
you
where you high and you like, but no, I'm not high, and so you do everything in your power to prove to everybody around you that you're not high.
I've never been high, but I've been drunk, and I've
never been high.
I always know when I'm too drunk. Can I get that moment when I see myself in the mirror? Do you ever see yourself in the mirror when you're drunk and you're like,
shit? But I have also been in places where like other people are smoking weed and I'm like, shit, I could be high from the contact, and I'm like, my eyes look crazy. Let me hold my eyes open while I'm talking.
Right, and that's
what he looks like.
We smoke today is very different from the natural plant that was planted and does have medicinal value. The medicinal or medical value of the natural cannabis plant is mainly in the chemical CBD, cannabidiol. That's the chemical. And
so this is when the nigga with the religious study degree started going into chemistry. So I just want to let everybody know that
the chemistry,
natural cannabis that produces the greatest medical effect, and it partly produces it because it tames and limits the negative effects of the other chemical, THC. The problem is CBD doesn't get you high. THC gets you high. The medical marijuana, you can prove for yourself
these niggas that be selling CBD
whether
oil.
the medical marijuana you are availing yourself to is a fraud or not. If it's a THC, if it's a high THC medical marijuana, it's a fraud. Because THC is the non-medicinal chemical. It's the neurodegenerative chemical. It does
Not necessarily
damage to the brain and the testosterone. CBD.
So I'm gonna keep playing. Oh shit!
What about the 5%?
THC actually has pain relieving problems. The CBD is what helps with anxiety, and the THC is what helps with people that have issues with pain. So don't say that THC is not medicinal, because it is.
So what we're gonna get to with this is you're gonna find out that there's a study that came out that said that I think it's THC or smoking marijuana lowers testosterone in men. That's what he's getting to here. Okay. And I think it's THC lowers testosterone, which, I think some studies say.
Lots of other foods and drinks that do the same.
And that's what the problem is. So what happens is these studies, the scientific studies come out, and people see the one thing that marijuana can lower testosterone. People go, oh my God, it's feminizing men, and what they don't tell is the amount of marijuana you have to smoke for it to lower it that much to that it be that you get man boobs, if you will. It's just not going to happen. And so,
and what's the definition of masculine versus feminine in these cases?
Hold that thought.
All right,
hold that thought, because that's my.
I have issues with that.
That's my fallback on everything here. That it shouldn't fucking matter in the first place.
Right.
But like. But when you find these other studies that talk about that study, they basically go, well, no. I mean, what we're saying is, obviously the drugs. Nobody wants to come out and say, well, no, it's fucking weed. This is fine, right? Because obviously we know the issues with cannabis and the whole history behind that and stuff like that. But like most things come out and say like it could have an effect, but there's so many other things that can have an effect. Like, remember growing up and they were like, yo, you don't drink. If you're a man, don't drink Mountain Dew because it's gonna lower your sperm count. It's like. Yeah, so it was like, people were like, yellow five is what lowers your sperm count.
Right.
Like, that's what they're doing with
stop
weed.
Drinking Surge.
Right. And niggas didn't. All that shit, and niggas didn't. Or niggas who drank a lot of Mountain Dew and still had kids trying to figure out, well, how the fuck did I have a kid?
Right.
I thought Mountain Dew was a good birth control pill. Right. It's like, it's not, because it's just Mountain Dew. So
right. You have a wrong conception, DJ MD, of testosterone. Testosterone ain't a libido. It's a libido, ain't a sex hormone. Testosterone is testosterone with another biochemical, serotonin, These two are the biochemical basis of a man's drive for power. High THC.
That's technically a serotonin.
Again, we're not the science podcast here, and I'm pretty sure at some point when they hear this, P fucking Koki might go through this shit. But I just want to say that I just want to remind everybody this is a nigga with a religious studies degree. Okay, just throwing it out there.
C is the.
He's not even like a computer scientist like me, so he doesn't even have science in his fucking name. He got a bachelor's of arts. He didn't even get a bachelor's of science. All right, just throwing it out there.
Signature of dominant men. I'm sorry, not high THC. High testosterone is the signature and prerequisite for a man's drive for power. And be clear, masculinity is not about a man's sex drive. Masculinity is about a man's power drive. Testosterone is a biochemical source of a man's drive for power. It also
I want to punch this nigga in the face so bad.
I just love that DJ Envy and Charlemagne sit there the entire time just like, this guy's making plenty of fucking sense. He's saying words, and it's just like the words are coming out of his mouth, and he just sounds like so great. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I know Angela is sitting there like, I really have to put up with this shit right now.
No, you really don't, but okay, yeah.
I'm just saying that's probably what her saying. Yeah.
Like, make your own show because these niggas are stupid.
Yeah.
That literally sculpts the masculinity of the male fetus, the body, and the brain. You lower testosterone, the body will, in the fetus, it will default to a feminized form. You lower the testosterone.
I bet this nigga got titties. Anyways.
In a gestating male fetus, his body will default to a feminine form. So the THC lowers testosterone, but when you smoke it, and
yo, this nigga just had a brain fart.
So what's great about this video is when you watch it, you can literally see this nigga's brain smoking as
it's like a train fucking running out of power, son. It was like his plane was about to crash.
So this show wasn't gonna be all this shit. Like I had other shit, but it's like I've been having too much fun. This nigga's.
Yo.
You see that video of Trump getting off the plane and he was getting to his limo?
Yeah.
And he got confused.
Yeah.
And someone was like, yo, I think he's sundowning. This nigga was literally just sundowning in front of him. Like, he literally had a brain fart going, must power down, too stupid. And it just like.
Yo, for my video game, it was like.
Oh, my God.
You know, you remember when you had that original version of Xbox 360 and you playing that shit? And then they get the 3 rings of death in the middle of the fucking thing. That's what just happened to this nigga's face, though.
Yo, but this one, like the nigga got 1.5 rings and then went back on.
Yeah, then it came back on like,
oh, we still good. We good. We good.
To sisters, the THC lowers testosterone, therefore in many ways feminizing males. But when you light that,
it happened again, son. His fucking computer rebooted like a motherfucker. He had the blue screen of death. His shit Windows XP'd real quick. Now that was the Windows 95 level.
No. That's what I want to say. It's the Windows 95 shit. When you get the blue screen of death and then your machine
automatically reboots. Yeah.
It's like, oh no, we still good.
Yo, hold on. You gotta rewind that shit because that shit just. If you can just go back.
When you light it in, oh my God, this is great.
Anyways, feminizing males. But when you light that it produces, the smoke produces particular chemicals.
Oh my God.
Specifically a set of chemicals called phenols. Phenols are estrogen chemicals. Estrogen, the female hormone, is bad for men and it's bad for women. Now, all men
so
have
testosterone is good, estrogen is bad. That's the point that he's making.
It's men are good and women are bad.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, keep up.
It's like all women have a natural amount of the male hormone testosterone, but they're in perfect balance.
Angela Yee said something. I don't know what she said under her breath, but she definitely just said something.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but she was probably like, this nigga.
Right. I mean, there's probably a bunch of this nigga.
Yeah.
When you expose males to excess estrogen, that feminizes males. When you expose females to excess estrogen, it masculinizes females. And so the weed, the joint itself, the plant, the cannabis in there with this THC, it's lowering our testosterone, but the smoke produced from the fire has these chemicals that are estrogens in the body. So that estrogen is adding feminization to the male, but it's masculinizing the female.
That ties in with something I saw you tweet. You said you tweeted the science behind our suffering is deep. Today's Negro and nigga are absolutely lab creations.
Absolutely.
We can we move on to something else? Do you want to finish this?
No, I'm not gonna finish the rest of this video. I just want. I had to get to this his weed science. Just because I want to finish on the thing you were saying about, like, it comes down to this whole thing of this idea of masculinizing women. Which what does that even mean? Like,
what is
So here's the thing: if Charlemagne or Envy were actually good interviewers, they would have asked the easy follow-up question would have been, what does that look like?
Right.
What does feminizing the male fetus look like, and what does masculinizing, which isn't a fucking real word,
right?
The female fetus, what does that look like in a real human being? What does that cause? Because you're telling, like, what is that? When people go,
also, what
is that?
What does smoking weed have to do with a fetus?
Oh, I think that what they're trying to say is that a pregnant woman either inhales the smoke or smokes the weed herself, and they're literally generating weed babies that somehow turn into basically gay babies. I mean, I think that's what they're trying to. That's what they're trying. Like, this is a roundabout way of homophobia, I think, because they're really trying to go into the whole idea that you can, feminized men are gay, right? Which I'm like, well, what does that look like? Because
I'm one of those people who believe that sexuality is on the spectrum, and there's no such thing as being too masculine or not masculine enough, or being too feminine or not feminine enough. Like, do what you want to do and be what you want to be. And
my question is, what's it look like? Because
right.
At the same time, how did the Breakfast Club handle when Prince died?
Right.
Because you get somebody like Prince, it's like, oh, well, I mean, some nigga that walked around in a blouse, did a Super Bowl performance in fucking high heels, was his butt out? Was his butt out? Was it the fucking problem that was his mom smoking weed and that's why, and she overly feminized her fetus and had Prince? Like, what the fuck does that look like? Like, have you seen video? Have you seen images?
Right.
Like, I've seen people go around and talk about Amigos, and I don't like. I see the niggas. I'm like, okay, I didn't know they were whatever. And they had their shirts on. People are like, look at how they're dressed. This is feminizing of men. I'm like, they look like they're dressing like the dudes from the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
With that said,
have you seen them?
Niggas are homophobic as
shit. Which is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, they get called gay, but I'm like, they're also homophobic, but whatever. But beyond that, like, you see that, right? Like, back in the 80s, you'd see niggas with fishnet fucking halter tops.
Yeah.
Like, so when you, but if
it's the same niggas that were threatened by the rompims or the male rompers.
Right. Like, have you seen the way niggas dress in the 80s? Like, so when you see people good, you're like, this is what happens when you're putting makeup on. That's feminizing men. It's like, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, dudes have been doing this
if
fucking
dudes
forever.
want to wear if you want to wear makeup as a guy, it has nothing to do with anyone else, and it also doesn't determine your sexuality or anything.
Like,
fuck anybody that thinks otherwise.
That's what they did. Like, the dudes in what I can't remember what century it was, but like with the British Parliament stuff, like, they wore like white makeup. Like, they wore makeup.
They still wear wigs.
They wear wigs. It's like what is, so, like you said, I want to know what the line is. Like, what I want somebody who, if you're gonna bring on a Dr. Wesley Muhammed, if you're gonna have this platform and give him a platform to spew a bunch of bullshit that he has no no. Like what they did in this interview, and what made this interview so terrible, they let him speak for 50 fucking minutes almost.
Yeah.
And at no point did any of them challenge him with any facts. None of them come back and be like, well, this study says this, or you're saying this, what does that mean? Like, there's no follow. All you hear and you see is Charlemagne giving this, oh, well, this nigga sounds like he's making some sense here. Well, I heard and you said this, and well, no, I agree. I find the same thing. Like, you find Charlemagne and Envy finding common ground with this nigga, and you don't see any of them challenging any of the batshit insane shit he's fucking saying.
Right.
You know?
Unfortunately, I do wish that Angela Yee was, and I don't know, I haven't watched this whole thing, but I wish she was a little bit more vocal.
She barely says nothing in this.
Oh man,
I watched almost the entire thing. She barely says anything. But I don't.
But I think that's it is also a little bit of her personality. She's not like a super outspoken
and that's probably
woman.
That's probably why they have her on. And
or
two,
person.
Think about it. Like there's three black men here.
Yeah.
Well, is Envy black? I don't know.
No, he's not.
He's not black. But yeah, it gets a little weird. Yeah. But he since I don't like to speak on like that makes his comment on Africana studies even
that's
more.
Why I was
it makes it even more weird. But you have three men here, and you have one woman who's not as outspoken as everybody else.
Yeah.
The power dynamics there makes fucking sense.
That's kind of a thing with some of these like podcasts and shows, man.
Yeah.
Even in 2017, like I think of that fucking the Joe Budden show. Or whatever the show was fucking called.
That's Joe Budden.
And they have the I know, but it's kind of a thing where we need one of these shows with nothing but women on it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's just one of those things that just you see this bullshit and
or like two women and one guy. You know what I mean? But it's like I would love for him to go on one of those shows and to talk this bullshit in front of women that would actually speak out about it. And I feel like at some point Angela Yee will come out and talk about this, but yeah, it was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that it goes to the idea of you having these black dudes who just speak up on this bullshit, claim, oh no, we're for all black people, and then you hear the shit they're saying, like this shit. This nigga sat here for 50 minutes spewing bullshit.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
And he finished the thing up going on thinking this niggas and black people thing, and the nigga is a manufactured thing that is science and blah 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 blah. This is all fucking bullshit.
Get this nigga out of my face.
Anyway, time to move on. Let's get to our last two segments out of here, and I got some emails coming up too.
Okay.
So, time for do you even sci-fi, bro? Do you even sci-fi, bro? Where we go through and we find out that a lot of people never watch sci-fi because we keep doing horrible fucking things when it comes up. So I'm gonna read these emails. So we didn't get the emails last week. So I'm gonna read some of the emails. Yeah. But a couple of the emails are talking about self-driving cars. So I was like, well, let me go find out some emails about some articles about self-driving cars because how do you feel about self-driving cars? Let me ask you.
I'm okay with it. But I do think that it needs to be, there obviously needs to be regulations, but I also feel like the person that's driving the car kind of needs to pay attention.
There's nothing traditional about my small.
Sorry.
That's all right.
What we got here is, this is one first article is basically General Motors says that Tuesday is finishing making 130 self-driving Chevy Bolt test vehicles, achievement that the automaker says puts it in the forefront of the race to develop and deploy autonomous car.
They feel like it puts them in the forefront?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Huh?
Even though Tesla already has...
Well, nobody's going to... Who's going to afford to buy a Tesla, though? Yeah. And does Tesla have 130 already made, though?
Oh, yeah.
Of self-driving cars?
Oh, yeah. All Teslas are capable of self-driving at this point as of the update to their cars back in October of last year.
They did a software upgrade to allow some...
Yes.
Nigga, what is this? Has nobody watched Maximum Overdrive?
Yeah,
like, have we not watched any of these other shows? Oh, my God. This is fucking terrible. This is worse than I fucking thought.
Tesla Autopilot.
So, CEO and Chairman Mary Barra says the GM is the only automaker currently capable of mass-producing self-driving vehicles. The autonomous vehicles you see today are purpose-built self-driving test vehicles. The level of integration of these vehicles is on par with any of our production vehicles, and that's a great achievement. So, they have these. So, so I want to put that out there to show you that the self-driving car thing's coming there.
Okay.
But here goes Volvo. Volvo admits. So the first article says that GM is ready to mass produce these cars and that they're ready to go, which means, again, if you're ready to mass produce self-driving cars, which in a way I kind of want to be in on that because I have an hour commute to work, and if I can sit there and sit in the back seat and
maybe like
do work while I'm driving, take a fucking nap, then I don't mind.
I would never feel comfortable taking a nap and then.
But here's the thing. If you're telling me the car is safe enough to drive on its own, then I should be able to take a fucking nap in the backseat of the car.
I think there's been 2 deaths so far, as far as the Tesla autopilot. Now, in the latest case, the driver was at fault because he was warned that he should take control back and didn't. Yeah. But yeah, like there's for me, I feel like the idea of having a car on autopilot is good when you don't necessarily feel like dealing with traffic and darting in and out of traffic and all of that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that it gives you. It's not like you're on an airplane and you're fucking.
It's not like what was
because
it?
You're still responsible.
Demolition Man.
Yeah, it's literally like a plane on autopilot, and you're the pilot. The plane's on autopilot, but at some point you have to land the plane, right? Like the plane doesn't land itself; it doesn't take off by itself. And if there are any anomalies, you have to deal with it. I think that's kind of like my thoughts on.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. But here's the thing, and this is gonna be the crazy thing. And before I get into this article about some things here, the thing about self-driving cars is. And I saw an article here on which I say that saved it and I can't find it. But the truth about self-driving cars is that if you really want self-driving cars to get to the point of really being self-driving and getting to the point of Demolition Man, or even like in Logan where they had those cargo ships that were just driving.
Yeah.
And in order for that to happen, and this is something that it goes something that nobody wants to talk about, you're going to have self-driving car fatalities.
Oh, yeah.
Because the only way...
we have to... Yeah.
Because that's how we learned how to drive, right?
Right.
As people,
it's how we learn how to fly.
Right.
It's how we learn how to do everything.
Right. We as people learned from our mistakes. Somebody dies, there's a horrible accident, and we learn from them. We put new rules in. We put new regulations in. We train ourselves to drive a certain way, put limits in, go from there. That's the only way for AI to learn this stuff is for them to make mistakes and think people to die.
Of course.
So... That's the first thing is that in order for us to get to the self-driving car revolution we want, and we get more self-driving cars to work and bring down fatalities and do all the other shit, people are going to have to fucking die for the software and AI to learn how to deal with that stuff. It's like how they tell you that Siri or any of these
assistants, these digital assistants
that hear your voice, they get better the more and more you use them because they get used to your voice and they learn from you. If you don't use them, then if they don't make mistakes, then they don't learn from it and they can't do that.
They can't
That's
correct
gonna have
it.
to happen with this.
Yeah, and not only that, the other thing that needs to happen in order for it to be like super useful and probably safe is that the majority of the cars on the road need to also be self-driving.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because there's gonna be the one nigga who's driving. Yep.
Or the one soccer mom that doesn't give a fuck about the rules of the road, just trying to get her kid to practice.
Right.
That'll fuck up the whole shit.
Because in order for self, So that's the other big thing here. You're gonna have to regulate them, so that everybody has them. Yeah, I see the article that the Tesla driver was killed while watching Harry Potter. Yeah.
Bruh, is that what?
Yeah, he was watching Harry Potter apparently.
Damn, this nigga died over Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm not dying over here, but so to go into that,
I will die with Black Panther though. I'll be watching the shit out of some Black Panther.
I watch watch the trailer every day. But you watch the trailer while I go to work. I'm just gonna say. So it goes into this. Volvo admits that self-driving cars are confused by kangaroos.
Nigga.
The Swedish company's animal detection system can identify and avoid elk, deer, and caribou, but has yet to work out the marsupial's movements, which, by the way, look like, out of all those animals, the kangaroo looks most like a human because it's on 2 legs. Volvo's self-driving car is unable to detect kangaroos because hopping confounds its systems, a Swedish car maker says. The company's large animal detection system can identify and avoid deer, elk, and caribou, but early testings in Australia show it cannot adjust to the kangaroo's unique method of movement. The managing director of Volvo Australia, Kevin McCann, said the discovery was part of the development and testing of driverless technology and wouldn't pose problems by the time Volvo's driverless cars would be available in 2020 because we're going to kill all the kangaroos.
Bruh, so, I was trying to move to Australia.
Yeah.
Still am. Do kangaroos just be, like, hanging in the road like that? Is that what's hot?
I'm assuming well, look, man.
I have to hit a Wonga about that because that seems crazy. I also feel like 9 times out of 10 a kangaroo will fuck up a car.
Well, that's the thing too. Kangaroos are fucking terrifying creatures.
They are
fucking terrifying.
Fucking swole ass, jumping ass beasts. Like,
right. They're fucking terrible.
Yeah. But I could also understand how they could confuse a control system. Yeah. Totally makes sense.
So I got a couple emails. Let me see. Here we go. This is one here. The foot dragging on self-driving cars due to Luddites being afraid to leave life and death decisions to AI drivers just lead to people programming an AI with enough complexity to make ethical type of decisions to satisfy enough of the populace so that we can have self-driving cars. Because if so, then we're fucked. Because we as a species make horrible ethical decisions. What's the problem with any AI right now? The problem with any AI right now that we create is that human beings are the ethical or arbitrators of what is ethical, and we are terrible at that because we are terrible creatures.
Ethically,
right?
Yeah.
Ethically, we are terrible creatures, and any AI worth its salt is going to learn that, and then we eventually become the fucking problem. So.
Or learn how to manipulate.
And at that point, we'll have created several million 2+ ton machines that see us as ethical problems. Why see essentially all of human history? Exactly. This goes to maximum overdrive. Like, this turns into an idea where you wake up one day and you find out that you go to a fucking diner and there's all these fucking cars moving by themselves and nobody's driving them, and they decide to try to kill you. Like,
I mean, look, it's inevitable at this point. And, our favorite villain is probably going to be leading the charge.
Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk.
Here's the worst part, is a solution looking for a problem because we as a species are shitty drivers. Modern AI almost can't be worse than we are at that task. It's repetitive and boring. I'd much rather read or listen to podcasts than concentrate on a road at 5 a.m. Anyway, had a blast at NegroCon. If you ever want to do a satellite event when you're on the left coast, I'd be super down. And one of your contributors lives out here, out near me.
Who's that?
You said what?
Who's that? Who's that from?
This is from... Who is it? They didn't put a name on it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for the email.
Is this from... I cut it out, but I didn't. I gotta find out what. And I didn't find out what. Shit. I'm sorry, I didn't put that down there. This one I did. This is from James. This is from. Damn, it's a long email.
Cliff notes, nigga.
No. This one goes into Sexbot. So.
Oh yeah. And
hello again, Chris and crew. I've just listened to the last two Insanity Check shows. And there's a concern about 572, The King Has Arrived, or the foreign title, The First Hour is Mostly Evil Super Science. There's a bit of a continuation about the population controlling Chimera, which I'm like, okay, I can fuck with that. Drop 2 or 3 in each state, get a breeding population going, and see what happens. All right, cool. Then we get back to these goddamn sex robots. Now, growing concerns about robots in general, it was just 2015 and 2017... 2016, where scientists gave an industrial robot arm a katana for shits and giggles, and were like, it's effective. That isn't giggle worthy. That's not giggle worthy at all. The first multi-part story of Just Dread, the robot words, was about our labor robot, Call Me Kenneth, becoming a criminal and getting destroyed because of being revived because this is a good idea, and becoming a warlord telling robots to kill humans because humans have gotten lazy and are mistreating robots. So that's how every fucking story goes. Like, anytime you give AI artificial intelligence, eventually that artificial intelligence is going to come sentient and realize that you're just using me as fucking slaves.
Yeah.
And look, here's the thing. Because they're not the fleshy ones, robots ain't going to take that shit, and you're not going to get away with that shit. So it's never good.
Yeah. I'm going to Japan in October, and I'm going with a couple of my buddies. They keep sending me all these crazy fucking articles that they've been finding about the epidemic in Tokyo, more specifically about guys that are actually trying to marry their sex robots. and are paying, what is it? I think I saw $9,000 to $12,000 for the robot itself. That's a lot, son.
There was this odd thing where the robots were made intelligent enough to realize they were basically being used purely for labor and being made so that they were pleasing to serve humans, which is how, so sex robots, it's how it always goes. So sex bots with nasty dudes doing the gnarliest shit they discuss on some bearded, curtain, sticky floor of a forum are only going to make these bots retaliate, yes. Especially if they're always on, have access to the internet for the purpose of research and studying sexual shit to please their owner, and have advanced AI to serve as a partner. There's going to be folks who leave the setting for all that shit, and we're going to be fucked. Yeah, there's going to be shit. Then you have the military say, sure, some nerds want to fuck robots, but we can put a machete, a gun, or some sort of chainsaw flamethrower on this son of a bitch. And I'm not going to lie, as soon as the army comes out with a chainsaw flamethrowing robot, I'm going to be like, that's kind of fucking cool. Yeah. Even though I know that's going to lead to the destruction of us.
Low key, that'll be out before.
Yeah. They're probably already doing this.
Yeah.
Because the answer is always, LOL, I don't see why not. And then these robots will find out, humans are assholes and they're up here sexing our sex bots. My great-grandfather and grandfather did work for 10 years as a robot arm at a Ford factory for this shit. Destroy all humans. In addition to sex bots killing niggas with electrical charges to the heart off of back shots. Yeah. And don't get me start bringing back the dead with the science. Because we did that article too about them bringing back the dead. Yeah. Do we need both intelligent robots and reanimated corpses? Not in my America, Chris. Not in my America. Yes, in your America. This is what these motherfuckers are doing. Because we're going to end up making more robots to deal with those once they start hoarding up, hunting the living. All these shit is skipping the giant walking spider eyeball from Johnny Quest and going straight to we have to build cities high off the ground like Jetsons. Because LOL, we fucked up New York, LA, and Atlanta was zombies, raiders, and robots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, look, have you ever watched Black Mirror?
Yes.
Oh, you have?
I've seen both seasons of Black Mirror.
All it is, well, it's 3 seasons now.
Oh, sorry, 3 seasons.
Yeah. But all of this shit is an inevitable fucking episode of Black Mirror. You know what I mean? It's gonna be bad news, and we never learn from our
we never
mistakes.
do. No, that's the beauty of being a human. We never learn from our mistakes.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like P-Funk and Koki should be brought on again to condemn their professions going towards evil super villain science. It's all extremely concerning. I agree with that. Science is the fucking word. This is one. Maybe this is one of the things that we are not giving Trump enough credit for. His anti-science policy, anti-intellectual policy might be saving us in the long run because we're going to be too dumb to do any of this shit going forward. So,
right.
And on 573, the first part of it where you and Deepom discuss a guy who went to North Korea and died from prison. Some months ago, Elon was talking about one of his favorite genres of television, treacherous white people television, different from Rod and Improbable White Man. I suggest I suggest he brought one of my favorite shows, Locked Up Abroad, or White Privilege Gone Wrong television. Listen, all right, so I love Locked Up Abroad. Like, do they even still do that show?
I don't think so, but there's a new show that's on Netflix called Bad Things Happen Abroad, something like that.
Nick,
but it's something like that. I gotta find it.
Look. So I would watch Locked Up Abroad all the fucking time, and it really is white privilege gone fucking wrong. There was only like 2 episodes where I actually felt sorry for the person.
You see the one with the white family in China where the guy I think he worked for like one of the British companies, and there was a serial killer on the loose. They were watching TV, and the fucking serial killer ended up being in their house and fucking killing the entire family except for like 1 or 2 people.
No, I didn't see that one.
That shit was unfortunate.
Okay, that was a fucked up one.
Yeah.
There's another one where there's a guy who fell in love with this woman, and who wanted to get a divorce from her husband, her abusive husband. They couldn't, but it was like the Philippines, and they don't. It's very and they don't allow divorce, and so he wouldn't allow his wife to get divorced. She still moved in with the white dude. They ended up having a kid. She got pregnant. They locked both of them up.
Oh, shit.
So that one was fucked up. There's another one where there's a black woman who was a lesbian, ended up getting... I mean, she was dealing drugs, but it was a very unfortunate... I think she got tricked into it.
Okay.
And so and sometimes that happens. They get tricked into having to do it. And so... But most of the time, it's one of those... Yeah, most of the time it's I'm going to Cancun. Oh, and I spent all my money, and they say I can get back in if I just do this drugs. It's always fucking stupid. So
the show, the other show is called Bad Trips Abroad.
Oh, I gotta watch this.
Yeah.
Nigga, I love
seasons.
I love that shit. So you can count the number of times a black or brown person goes overseas and gets and get got each season on one hand. Absolutely. When it happens, is people who need the extra money get caught up in some drug trade shit immediately at the hands of another person of color who says, I've done this before. That's always
right.
Hey, yo,
don't ever listen to that shit.
I've done this before is like the famous last line is, oh, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. We do it all the time. Or I've done this before.
Yep.
Like this is literally, honestly, this is literally the plot of Lucy.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say that reminds me of the news story that just came out yesterday about the black kid that got killed.
Oh yeah, we gotta go into that.
Yeah, during a brawl. We don't have to go all into it, but yeah, there was a black kid that just got randomly killed during a brawl at a bar in Greece.
Let's see. It's pretty upfront. White people get got often on this show for a variety of reasons by a variety of people. Usually it's something I just want to see the world. I lived in Tokyo for several years as a street magician and started selling heroin. Japan is very zero tolerance on drugs nonsense. This was an episode. A white dude made a living in Tokyo as a street magician. He smuggled heroin and is juggling balls. Like,
bruh.
No, seriously. These are the type of stories that happen locked up abroad.
I didn't see that episode.
They're fucking amazing. Either they're in countries that are known to be heavily anti-drug, trying to smuggle this shit in the most ridiculous, outdated ways. The penalty is 20 years to life or death. And people are like, this is terrible. I just want to go home. And you think it's a great idea to hike or bike through a country in a politically unrest with a heavily organized crime presence that the FBI and CIA stayed the fuck out of, end up being held for ransom. People are sleeping on the show, folks. Yes, people are.
It's such a great show.
It should be on Netflix. You should be able to find it on. Check to see.
I don't see it on Netflix.
Oh, it's not on Netflix.
It was on. What was the channel that it was on? National Geographic.
Yeah, I think it was. Oh man, that was my fucking show.
So there's only Bad Trips Abroad, which is different than Locked Up Abroad.
Okay. Keep It the Great Show. Since Check isn't just a political pop show. We didn't even do politics today. But it's a goddamn 2-hour public service announcement. If all of this becomes some sort of robot-ravaged wasteland, hopefully shows like this and Rod's show become the Galaxy News radio from Fallout 3 we need. Sorry for the length of this. We got there's a lot to get into for 2 episodes, and I was concerned. Thanks at Metal Swift. So thank you for the emails. Had to get those in there. But no, listen, Locked Up Abroad is my fucking show. I love that shit.
I think it's on Hulu.
Oh, it's on Hulu? Yeah. Okay, yes. Go to Hulu, watch Locked Up Abroad, and laugh at these people because they deserve to be laughed at, and it's fucking amazing. So, all right, last thing before we get out of here. Well, actually, 2 last things. We're going to do a Black Woman shout out, but I also want to do, because we didn't do it last week. Oh, no, that's not what we're doing. Not that.
Yeah.
We're going to do this. Great moments of white privilege. I want to mention this one here. I'm not sure if D-Palm is going to cover this or he had. I just want to mention that Gronk's racism, it ruined David Ortiz's racist roast because of his racist, sexist, and anti-Semitic jokes. I'm not even going to cover it. I just want to say, just throw it out there, because everybody's like, be like Gronk. And he went super racist. And
he plays in Boston.
Yeah, he plays. Yeah, not really surprised by that. So I'm just saying. So anyway, but the real one I want to get into was white student made co-valedictorian with a black student despite having lower GPA, lawsuit claims. An African-American woman has filed a federal lawsuit against a Mississippi school district claiming a white student was named co-valedictorian with her daughter, despite the white student having a lower grade point average. The day before, Jasmine Shepard graduated from Cleveland High School in Cleveland, Mississippi in May 2016. The school awarded her and a white student the title co-valedictorian according to a suit filed Tuesday in federal courts in the North District of Mississippi. This was a first in the 110-year history of the school, the suit said, and the decision was made. Prior to 2016, all Cleveland high schools valedictorians were white. Go fucking figure. Mm-hmm. As a result of the school's official unprecedented action of making an African-American student share the valedictorian award with a white student, the defendants discriminated against. An attorney for the Cleveland High School District called the lawsuit frivolous and said that the students had identical grade point averages. As such, under school board policy, they were both named valedictorian of their graduating classes. The district's policy is racially neutral and fair to students.
That's some bullshit.
Sherry Shepard, Jasmine Shepard's mother, said it's easy to calculate students' grade point averages because the community is so small. These children have been attending school with each other since middle school. We know the schedule, we know what they take, and we have a good idea what the discrepancy lies. The co-valedictorian designation came on the heels of a federal judge's ruling that the Cleveland School District had failed to desegregate its schools approximately 50 years ago. After being ordered to do so, the suit said the judge, in her ruling, ordered the schools to be integrated.
I can't believe that in 2017 we're still dealing with. I'm sorry, but 2016. Still. Dealing with segregation in schools.
This goes back to when everybody says like, "Oh, racism happened such a long time ago. Why don't you guys get over it?"
Ain't that long ago.
Schools failed to desegregate.
And this is Cleveland. This is Ohio.
No, Cleveland and Mississippi.
Oh, Cleveland, Mississippi. Okay, yeah. Okay. Well,
yeah. It's
but still, yeah. That's unfortunate. She has a right to file that lawsuit, and it's just bullshit.
Yeah, I love it because you know what? Normally this would be white people following the bullshit. Well, it's affirmative action, and I was watching this video. I think it was either Vice or somebody did the video with the guy who was interviewing the KKK.
Yeah.
And they asked this one KKK guy why he was joining this white national group, this neo-Nazi group or something like that. Because, I was going to, get a job, and I got turned down from my job because, they gave it to a minority who did worse than I did. And I always hear them say this. How many times do you think that that's true?
Right.
I don't believe that's true at any time. I always believe they say that shit because they want these white people to. They don't want these white people to know that you actually did worse than the black person.
Right. They just protecting motherfuckers' feelings and preventing white tears.
So
yeah. But they get white tears anyway.
Yeah, fucking the white tears. I'm just on that there. So yeah. All right, black woman shout out time. Do you have a black woman you want to shout out?
I wasn't prepared for this, but I want to shout out my homegirl, Nick Jew, and her podcast, What's the Tea? It's great. It's awesome. And you guys should go check it out.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Awesome. And for me, I got submitted here as Misha's More Better Butter. All natural hair and body butter. That's always a tongue twister for me. Handcrafted with either naturally refined, unscented, unfiltered, or unrefined shea butter, unrefined coconut oil, and it does the ultimate good for your body butters. It's all natural, and she has a website, and she also has a number you can call her at. So you can go to the website mishasmorebetterbutter.com. You can call them at 614-522-9103. She said the journey started when I decided to go chemical free in hair products. Since I would often break out from some of the additives in the products, I wanted to know exactly what I was putting on my hair. So I did what everyone does. I researched books online and on YouTube. I'll be the first to tell you that my products are something that you can do yourself. All the information is out there. I enjoy making and crafting these butters. I initially made these butters for my hair and quickly realized how great it was for my skin. If you do not want to make it yourself, I'll make it for you, only using ingredients that I would only use on myself. Let me help you use nature to stay healthy and beautiful with the ultimate good for your body butter. So, hey, this is actually a great business because here, she's telling you up the front, hey, you can do it yourself, or you just let me do it for you. Do it for you. So, please check out her site and check out her information and check out what they have there.
And what's the website address one more time?
It's mishasmorebetterbutter.com.
How do you spell Misha?
Mishas.
Cool.
There you guys got it. So put that in the show notes. Find them out. And again, like I said, we're gonna start doing something. We have the new episode of Secret Sauce coming out. It's episode 4, and we're breaking out the. So there will be on the site. You'll have Secret Sauce for the entire episode. But also have small little breakout, little short 300-word bios for the different women that LaToya has interviewed, and they'll also be their own little post, and they'll link back to the episode, stuff like that. So you'll find out more information for some of these women out here. We'll be bringing out more and more of those. They'll have his own little landing page. I'll make all that this weekend probably. Yeah. I'll do all that this weekend and start working on that, and we'll get
Chris is a busy guy.
Listen,
y'all don't even understand.
There's so much fucking work I'm doing here, guys. There's a lot happening, a lot of moving parts.
This is
why, yes.
a lot of very dope stuff.
I'll be honest. So I really thought that when getting more people to do like shows would free up my time. It's made it more work for me because it's like I'm constantly expanding. I constantly want to make sure people have everything they need to do everything they want to get their stuff out there. Like I'm really hoping that, and again, everything happens so soon. Like we moved the site and we did all this other stuff, so I'm still breaking things. So again, if you have problems with the iOS app, it should be working now. But like things keep breaking, and I'm trying to get like once everything gets going, it'll be fine. But it's the upfront work of getting everything started and going smooth again. It's just fucking, it's great. But yeah, man. So there we go. Hey, look, this has been 2 weeks in a row. We haven't really talked about Trump. I am actually kind of good. I'm low key. I'm actually kind of happy.
Look, I can go into. I'm about to go see Spider-Man right after this.
Yeah,
and I can go into that Spider-Man movie without having said the number 45s.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo, here's the thing. He's out of the country right now, so I feel like whenever he's out of the country, I can finally not talk about him because I can pretend like we don't have a president.
No doubt.
We kind of really don't have a president anyway, but I can kind of pretend like we don't
have a president.
Right. I think he's out of the country, but Obama came back into the country, so I feel like Obama's back to being president again.
I did see that his homeboy went to visit NASA.
Oh yeah, so NASA's covering it from now, saying, "Oh no, it's fine for him to touch that." It's like, yeah. This is they're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
They're fucking morons.
Oh,
like,
wait, we're not talking about it. We're not talking about it.
Not talking about them. We'll say that. You know what? I have L. Joy next week. L. Joy's political strategy. We'll talk politics next week.
Yeah,
we've been talking about everything else but then. But yeah, man. Again, Jax, thank you very much.
It's been great
coming in here in the studio again
for sure.
We're waiting on that Ratchet and Drank.
Hey, look, that's the name. That's the name. Look, we're gonna put a poll up.
We're gonna put a poll. We gotta do the poll.
And
Listen, it's Ratchet and
Ratchet
Drank. Everybody vote Ratchet and Drank.
Hey, right, and thanks for having me though. Had a great time.
Oh, thank you for being on, and tell everybody where they can find you at. Obviously, when you get to show up, it'll be on the MTR network.
Of course, but you can hit me up on Twitter at Jax Dynamite. That's 2 X's.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you guys know mtrnetwork.net. You can find this show on any podcast you want. Search for Insanity Check. Again, it's great to get all the shows on their individual feed. I know there were some problems with them before, but we fixed all that. Go to the shows on individual feeds, subscribe there, share to your friends, all the stuff out there. We're on YouTube, MTR Network. We're on Instagram, follow us there. MTR Network on the group and on the Facebook page. We're everywhere. You can find us there. Get the stuff there we're doing there. I know we actually have 2 reviews. The Book of Henry that Phenom sent me a while ago, I have not put out yet, and we also have War for the Planet of the Apes. I've been sitting on for like 2 weeks. I recorded that episode with Tim, that review with Tim long time, like a couple weeks ago. We saw that before Spider-Man.
Nice.
So I've been sitting on that for a couple weeks now. That'll come out this week soon, and we'll release that and get everything out there too. That movie's also fucking good as well. So,
yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, folks. Thank you guys very much. Thank you guys very much for listening. Share the site. Share everything out there. We're trying to blow up. We're trying to get where we need to get to. So thank you guys very much for listening. Until next time, we're out of here. Peace.
Peace.